tickets for just $25.
Chris
Pizza Ranch, watch now, beourguest.com. Get them while they last.
You know who it is.
Do you have a favorite pizza?
So, with how much we work and how often we get pulled away for things, my favorite pizza is something that's hot and fresh. So,
good morning, happy
Whatever's
Friday.
hot and ready to
We
go,
did
you're
it.
good
We
to
all
go.
made
yeah,
it
I
to the
love it when it's
weekend.
hot and fresh.
The sun
That's
is
nice.
starting
Now
to
you kind of
come
bury the
out.
lead
It's a
because
little
your
cloudy
pizza
this
ranch,
morning,
you
but
say
it's
your
going to be
chicken is
gorgeous.
slam
And
on. People can't
it
sleep
is
on
a
the chicken.
great day because I have John Hancock and Michael Kelley in Studio B.
Here we are.
With me, Michael Kelley will be sitting in all morning for Chris Ranji. We don't know where he is, but Michael Kelley has come in clutch
I'm
yet
glad
again.
to be here again.
Yet
you look a little
again.
bleary-eyed, Amy.
Well, it was a late night.
Mm-hmm.
It was a late night, but it was a fun night at the St. Louis Blues game where the Blues soundly defeated the Winnipeg Jets. So we're going to break it all down. We're going to talk about it with Hancock and Kelley. If you are listening on 1120 a.m., you'll want to hop on over to 1041 FM. A beautiful sound. It's beautiful. It's the most beautiful sound. You can listen to us all over the metropolitan area on 1041 FM. The Odyssey app, you can take us wherever you go, whether you are going on a run or maybe you're walking the dog, you're on a boat. John, you could listen to us on a boat.
On a boat.
You could. You can listen to us out of the country on the Odyssey app. You can also follow us on Twitter at Chris Amy KMOX. Don't forget to download and subscribe to the podcast in case you missed anything.
Time now for the top of the order. The top 3 stories everyone will be talking about.
Well, as Michael Kelley pointed out, a little bleary-eyed this morning. It was a late puck drop, but it was worth it. The Blues defeat the Winnipeg Jets 7-2 in Game 3 last night. They will head into Sunday's Game 4, trailing the Jets 2-1 in the series.
And President Trump's first 100 days is approaching. Annie Fry from 97.1 will join us in the studio. We'll talk about what he's accomplished in those 100 days.
And the Cardinals host the Milwaukee Brewers this weekend. That series starts tonight at 7:15 p.m. We've got the pregame show with Matt Pauley at 6:20. And Friday night, Live by Lowe's picks up yet again with Cardinals alum Mark Sweeney joining the crew over at Live by Lowe's at the Bullock there by Ballpark Village.
Gotta love it.
You gotta love it. All right, guys.
Yes.
Good Blues win last night.
It was.
How was it? I mean, I didn't get to go to the game and feel the energy. It must have been electric for you.
It was insane. It was really, really good energy. The building was just, it felt 10 times louder than usual. And I mean, I'm not in the building every day like I was years ago, but it brought back all those feelings of 2019 playoff hockey.
Yes.
The crowd was going crazy, and the Blues came out absolutely flying.
Yeah, 13 in a row they've won at Enterprise Center. And, man, they just looked great last night. And I don't know that Winnipeg was flat. I just think the Blues they brought that much more to the table.
Yeah, I think it was both. I think the Blues were bringing so much to the table right out of the gate. I think it caught Winnipeg off guard. They did look flat-footed. I don't play video games, but my brother would play, like when he was younger, the NHL video game. I don't know, NHL 15, NHL 16, whatever it is. And since I don't play video games, he would make a character for me. We'd start playing, and there was like the one time I played, and I couldn't figure out how to get my guy to skate. So both feet were on the ice, and he would just glide back and forth, and he would be behind every play. So the puck would go here, and then my guy would glide in. That's what the Winnipeg Jets looked like. They looked like they were just gliding a little bit behind the play. The Blues offensive zone pressure, I think it was sustained nonstop for at least 5 minutes to open the game.
So the one thing the Blues hadn't done in this series that they had been doing since the Four Nations tournament is involving the defensemen in the offensive zone. They really got away from that in the first 2 games of this series. And last night, you get the goal by Fowler. But the the defensemen were in that game and in that zone, and it made a real difference.
I'm more the passive fan. Obviously, we're in the playoffs. I'm intense and I'm in it. So I watched the games the last night till I fell asleep in the third quarter or the third period.
I did too.
I felt like, in that first period, the thing that I liked about that team, we were crashing the nets.
Yeah.
They weren't trying to move the puck around. Like, it's frustrating sometimes when they just don't get shots on goal. I felt like that first period, they were crashing that net.
Oh, they had a ton of pressure down low. And to John's point about the defense getting involved and creating those offensive chances of breaking out of the zone, not just tossing it to center ice. So Cam Fowler set a franchise record for points in a game by a defenseman.
4 points.
5 points.
5 points.
He had 5 points last night. Yep.
A goal and 4 assists.
That's right. Only one other defenseman has had more points in a playoff game, and that was Paul Coffey.
Wow.
With the Edmonton Oilers back in 1985.
Wow.
He had 6 points, but Cam Fowler tied with 5 with names like, Paul Coffey again, Al McInnes, Cale Makar from 2022, Dennis Potvin, among others, Risto Salatin. So it's pretty impressive that he was able to put that performance up.
Who was that Risto guy?
We're not going to go over that, are we, Hancock? We've got to talk about that.
Old
like
Risto.
She sounded like you talking Greek.
Yeah.
When you talk about Greek
Old
food
Risto,
over there.
man. You forget about
You remember
Risto.
Yari Curry.
He had a great Risto shot, that guy. It was incredible.
Well, what about Buchnevich and the hat trick?
The hat trick, yes.
How about all those hats on the ice?
Would
First
you-
of all, do you wear your hat? Did you take a hat with you to the game and throw it on
Well,
the
no,
ice?
I'm in the media. I'm in the press box, Michael. I'm in a suit.
What?
Yeah, you got to wear a suit in the press.
Well, I noticed you have a strong voice this morning. How did you not lose your voice from screaming?
I think the security guard is allowed to shoot you if you cheer in the press box.
You cannot
Really?
cheer in the press
No,
box.
you can't wear jerseys.
Huh.
You can't wear any type of Blues hats. You can't cheer. You can't yell.
That's un-American.
No,
Wow.
it's not. It's so weird.
Don't you hate that?
No.
Don't you want to be in the energy?
I
and
don't.
yelling?
I have no inclination to cheer when I'm in the press box. It's
Well-
like you feel like you're working. It's weirder for me to cheer. I will say, even if I go and sit in regular seats now, I don't cheer.
What?
I know.
Well, but this is like the whole experience of
I
life.
know.
This is the idea that we've had since the time of gladiators, that people come
Yeah.
and get enjoyment and they get excited and they yell and they scream. You go to a hockey game
Mm-hmm.
as a fan,
Mhm.
paid your $100 to be there, or somebody else did,
Right.
and you're there and you don't cheer.
No, I can't. I think honest to goodness, it's when I'm thinking, I look serious. And I'm I get really lost in my head. And when I'm watching the Blues game, I watch it.
She
I'm
gets
just
lost in her head,
I'm
Kelley.
thinking the whole time. You're
Yeah.
thinking like an analyst, or you're breaking down plays. I don't know. I cheer at the Cardinals games because I don't know enough about baseball.
Really?
I do. I cheer at the Cardinals game. I can cheer at the Cardinals games.
Well, not so much these days.
Well, but
So-
at Blues games, I feel like it's all business, but it's so much fun. I love it. I love taking notes.
What?
You sit in the
She
press.
takes notes.
I have look at my notes from the game, John. Handwritten notes.
Oh, man.
What do they say?
You bring a notebook to the game?
Absolutely.
What do you write down?
Well, let's see.
Oh, that guy's.
Yeah. Okay. So what I did write down, I'm going to look through all my notes because I didn't go through them. I brought up the Jets being flat-footed. Shifley and Kyle Connor, Mark Shifley, who had the Blues number
Yeah.
in the first couple of games.
Yes.
When they were on the ice, 5-on-5, they were outscoring the Blues 4-0.
Right.
Not great. They were completely shut down in last night's game. They couldn't get anything going.
A lot of that, I think, is because when you're at home, you get the last line change.
You do get the last line.
And I think Montgomery, the Shifley line, which had done a lot of damage in those first 2 games, I think Monty really countered that line effectively last night. And that was one of the big stories of the game.
Yeah, no, it was so impressive.
Let's check the notes.
Yeah, let's check the notes.
Takes
Also,
a notebook to the game.
did you notice the offensive zone pressure? How they were cycling down
did.
low? They couldn't have any sustained pressure down low in the previous games. It was like watching a different team. The non-goal, I should say, when Binnington made that incredible save on
Mhm.
Perfetti. was a goal.
Was it?
It was a goal.
It crossed the line?
Yeah. I mean, and from all the angles I saw, I think the only reason why it wasn't called a goal is they determined that it wasn't decisive enough to overturn the call on the ice.
Right.
If the call on the ice had been goal, it would have counted.
Yep.
All right. Give us a little insight, those of us who will never go to a press box.
Okay.
What happens in that instance when it's being litigated, whether or not it's a goal, it's being discussed on TV? Do the journalists amongst themselves talk, or is talking not allowed?
No, there's a lot of talking because you're watching the reviews. There's a bunch of televisions in the press box, and I was sitting next to Matt Pajeski, our producer. Ethan
Peach was in the press box?
He was in the press box.
Unbelievable.
They let me in.
It's not a small box. It's like the whole upper level.
It's a row.
Wow.
Really. Yeah.
What kind of food do they have up there?
Peanuts.
That's it?
Well, they had salt and smoke.
Okay.
I think you have to buy that.
Yeah.
Now,
But anyway,
can you have a beer in the press box, or is that
No, that's frowned
That's in the
upon.
same vein as cheering and jersey wearing.
Yeah. You're all business.
you can't have a beer in the press box?
I am more business in the press box than I am here by
It's like
far.
having a beer here.
She
Place
took
of
a
work.
note. Of course, you take a notebook to a hockey game. Amy, talk about ruining an unbelievable experience. I mean, you turned it into an AP history class.
I
Well, she's
love
got
AP history.
Exactly.
I love taking notes.
Oh.
I mean, look at you've
Look at
got
all
you've
that,
got the
John.
lines,
pages
you've got
of
the
notes.
power plays.
That's when this is about halfway through the game. She's writing
Yeah.
all this stuff down. You usually are in a fight with one of the neighbors because you've been doing play-by-play for that long.
Mhm.
Somebody's spilling,
I don't do play-by-play at the
nacho
hockey
stuff on
game.
us. She's taking notes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel
All
like the
credit to
life
her.
has been sucked out of you, Amy.
I love it though.
Okay.
I
well,
live
good
for
you.
this.
All right.
I love taking. I'd be in the press box.
You going Sunday?
I'm going Sunday.
She's going
Are
Sunday.
you in the press box?
Yes.
Will you be in a suit?
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Like,
Can I
honest
get,
to God,
can I get in the press
pantsuit?
box?
Well, if you get a press pass, you can.
How do I go about doing that?
I
mean,
know
I
a
am-
guy.
A very small and diminishing part of the voice of St. Louis. but I still think I might qualify for a press pass.
Yeah, the old John Hancock hockey coverage.
That's it.
Yes, it is a suit.
Would you be able to contain yourself up there?
Oh, buddy. Yeah.
You'd be
I'm
able
nothing
to.
but
You can't
I'm
do-
nothing but contained.
You can't do play-by-play.
No.
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 Like
Yeah.
what
So
happened?
contained.
Yeah, they score or something and everybody cheers. You'd have to sit there and look at it and be like, oh, look
There-
at these heathens
Another goal.
yelling.
Another goal.
Yeah.
There's a goal.
I
There
think
you
Chris Kerber would love to sit by you at a game and listen to you do play-by-play right next to him.
Oh, Curbs and I go way back.
Do you really?
He grew up in my neighborhood.
This
Did
I
you
did
beat him
not
up
know.
or did
Yeah.
he beat you up?
No. He grew up before I moved in.
Okay.
But he's the first house on the right when you come up the hill there.
No
yeah.
kidding.
Yeah.
Well, I did. I had to peek my head in and say hi to Curbs and bring back memories of 2019.
Oh, yeah.
Curbs is great.
He's the best.
He's such a nice man.
He's a lot of
Great
fun.
guy.
And he cares about St. Louis too.
Yeah.
You know, and involved in youth sport
Yep.
and all of that stuff.
There you go.
Can't get enough of him.
Love him.
All right, guys. Well, the
Don't
fun
cheer
part's
with 'em.
over.
Don't cheer.
Don't cheer. He's John Hancock, Michael Kelley, Amy Mark scores not cheering. When we come back, more Hancock and Kelley. They are in all hour with me. It is the Chris and Amy show on KMOX.
There's something new taking shape in downtown St. Louis, an experience unlike anything else in sports. From the hustle on the pitch to all the flags and smoke and 22,000 fans chanting STL in unison throughout Energizer Park. This is more than just a game. This is St. Louis City Soccer. Learn more at stlcitysc.com/tickets and experience it now.
This month, Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight is testicular cancer, Dr. Woodson Smelser.
Yeah, so the first step is to talk to your doctor, and generally they would order imaging of the testicle and look for actual tumor, and oftentimes they will do an examination or send you to a urologist to have an examination. And I find that the place where a lot of times men have some hesitance or trepidation, obviously, because it seems like it may be an invasive exam, but that's an exam that could save your life.
Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit Visit siteman.wustl.edu.
You know how you always want to know about everyone else's money? On the podcast, What We Spend, guests will, for 1 week, tell us everything they spend their money on.
My son slammed $6 worth of blueberries in 5 minutes.
And everything that makes them feel.
I want to own a house. I want to have a child. But this morning, I really wanted a coffee.
Because at the end of the day, money is always about more than your balance. Listen to and follow What We Spend, an Odyssey original podcast. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Success is picking up extra shifts for your family. Now you want to be the boss. Success is getting your foot in the door. Now you want to take the next step. Success looks different to everyone, and University of Maryland Global Campus can help you reach your goals. And there's never been a better time to get started on your future. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 14th. As an accredited state university, UMGC has been transforming lives for over 75 years. With more than 135 undergraduate and graduate degrees and certificates, online and hybrid courses, personalized support, financial resources, and lifetime career services. Achieving your dreams is more possible than ever before. Choose the program that's right for your career goals and get started on your next success. Get your application fee waived now. Classes start May 14th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
It's Tom Ackerman. At St. Louis Composting, they transform organic yard waste, branches, leaves, grass clippings, and more into premium compost through a 6-month static composting process. As the largest and most trusted compost provider in the St. Louis area, they are committed to producing only the best. Enjoy your outdoor space this spring with vegetable gardens and fresh landscaping. And with St. Louis Composting, you can order online for delivery or pickup premium soil, compost, and mulch at any of their 9 locations. That website is stlcompost.com. stlcompost.com. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories. And whether you're looking for bulk compost or just a few bags, St. Louis Composting can provide that. An extensive selection. Order online for convenient delivery to your home or job site. St. Louis Composting, stlcompost.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Mark Cantor at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, so I take this very seriously. Mark is a great attorney. He has a great team. He is from St. Louis. He is local. Call 314-628-9999 or visit cantorinjurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate. Paid for by Bayer.
You asked, we delivered. KMOX, now on FM. Crystal clear sound at 104.1 FM.
Well, guys, let's talk a little local news
All
here
right,
in the
let's
city
do
of
it.
St. Louis. Let's start with the sinkholes that we've seen because they opened up over last weekend, several sinkholes on Park near Lafayette Square. And there is the big Go St. Louis Marathon tomorrow, which they did have to reroute around the Park Avenue sinkhole because the last thing you want is
so technically they're not sinkholes.
They're cave-ins.
Yes.
Yes, they're cave-ins.
Because your sinkhole out there is that's
natural.
Yes, and you got so what's happening is you got the liquid, the water,
The infrastructure,
and the water erodes the dirt that is buttressing the pavement that upon which the road is constructed, and so when you have a cave-in, it's that erosion of the dirt bed that causes the street to crumble.
Well, thank you for that insight.
20 feet down.
Well, thank you. Well,
Very
okay.
good.
So here, with all the people downtown now who can know more now about the cave-ins, in case they get sucked under.
Yeah.
Again, with the marathon, it is a big deal. They're going to be rerouted. The marathon course will be 1/10 of a mile longer now because they had to add a block.
That'd be 26.3.
And it'll probably be a little longer than that because they
Really?
always overmeasure. You got to overmeasure to make sure it's not a short course in order for it to be certified.
No, it
My
needs
guess
to be
is-
precise.
No, my guess is it's going to be 26.46. I'm going to have someone.
I would file a complaint. That's not a marathon.
kidding.
That's normal.
Can you
That's not a
imagine? Can you imagine?
The Blues game tomorrow night. Not a
Could you
15-minute
imagine
period. Let's
running 26.2 miles and then dying 100 yards later? I mean, it would be horrible.
Yeah.
You get to the end of the marathon and then you die.
You know that does happen.
I know it does.
People do
happened.
die at the
I
marathon.
know
Is
they
that
do.
what's kept you away from running? one?
That's why,
That was the first marathon for deputies or whatever his name is. He died.
I had my heart
Really?
checked the
Yeah.
other day.
And it's well.
Yes.
Good.
Amazingly well.
Okay.
Like,
So this,
Healthy as a horse, are you?
yeah.
yes.
Really?
100-year-old horse.
Well, you were a little horse.
I am a little horse.
Yes. These cave-ins,
Yes. Oh, yes.
John and Michael. Now remember, $40 million of the Rams settlement money was going to go to fix the water infrastructure. But then, of course, there was all the drama at the Board of Aldermen, and Megan Green put an end to moving forward with those bills. Alderwoman Ann Schweitzer said, well, why don't we just scrap everything else, but at least address the water infrastructure? The Board of Aldermen said no. President of the Board of Aldermen, Megan Green, said no. So now here we are with all of the sinkholes. Charlie Brennan asked last night on Donnybrook, which I joined them on Donnybrook. He said, the St. Louis leaders owe the people of St. Louis an apology because we've known the water's been bad for a long time.
The water's been bad?
Sorry, the water infrastructure.
In the sewer.
Oh,
In the
yeah.
sewers.
But I mean, and listen, the amount of money that we were talking about putting in under Ann Schweitzer's compromise was good, and it was an investment, but it was a drop
Not
in
enough.
the bucket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've got like $1.5 billion worth of water needs. That's the reality of where we're at. We've got an old aging city that was built for its prime, back in the 1900s when there was a fair here. We should talk about it sometime. And we had all this infrastructure stuff. Now the city's, deteriorating from people, etc. And there's been no investment. I think this is not a unique problem, and I think it will continue to be a recurring chorus in St. Louis. Is we're going to have to fix a lot of stuff, and that's what's unfortunate about the delay, particularly during the COVID time when we had all of that money that we could have accessed to be investing at that, in these very needs.
And these are one-time expenditures,
Yeah.
which is what you use one-time money for. You don't use it to obligate yourself to future spending. And they should be addressing these infrastructure needs.
Do you think if we could see underneath the streets of St. Louis, we would be horrified?
I bet that's with every city, but yeah. I mean, I know from the water infrastructure that's been the case. And listen, it's not just the neglect of an administration or two. This is something that we've looked the other way for decades on. I mean, we still have sewers in St. Louis that are wood in some places. Think about that.
Wow.
We have pipelines that are still, 100 years old, built at a time when St. Louis was big and had a water infrastructure, but we're not doing anything like we did it 100 years ago.
So was it not addressed earlier? If we've known this is going on, was it not addressed earlier because it's not sexy? There's no appetite
because
for
it
it?
costs money.
And there's no
And
money.
when, and at a time when you're running for elections and you're saying you're going to do this and you're going to build the new world's tallest, ball of twine or whatever it is that people are focused on in those moments, you eschew some of the. My dad used to call it knitting.
Yeah.
When you're going to make a quilt, you got to do a lot of knitting, and it's not fun. And if you neglect that knitting, you're not going to have a quilt at the end of the day.
There you go.
Wow. I like that.
All right. Well,
everybody's got to have a quilt.
watch out for those sinkholes that are really just cave-ins.
That's right.
Yeah. Watch out for the.
Right.
Our hydrologist taught us all about that here, John.
We ought to get old Rex Sinkhole on here to talk about this stuff.
He's John Hancock. Michael Kelley. I am Amy Mark Scores. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Hi, Stacy with Fairwinds Rivers Edge Senior Living in St. Charles. Are you a senior seeking a fun retirement? Do you want less work and more play? Do you want to enjoy great food that you don't have to cook? Then I know. Stop what you're doing right now and call Fairwinds. Set up a time to visit and have a meal. Meet some of our awesome residents. Check us out online at fairwindsriversedge.com. We hope to talk with you soon.
Well, currently it is 66 degrees downtown at the Arch. A high today, 80 degrees with scattered thunderstorms and some rain throughout the afternoon. The low tonight, 54 degrees. Tomorrow, a bit cooler, a high of 69 and partly cloudy. Sunday, warmer again, 74 and mostly cloudy.
Brought to you by Volley.
Volley.
Level up game night with Volley, the smart TV app for playing games like Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, or test your knowledge with fun music quizzes and party games. Turn your TV into the ultimate game hub with the Volley app on your Roku or Fire TV. Download it and play today.
Volley.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire America's largest injury law firm for your case? There's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting for justice and compensation, millions of people across the country trust us to go to battle for them. We became the largest injury law firm in the world for a reason. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey St. Louis, this is Ben Barnett, board certified master arborist with Timberline Professional Tree Care. In my nearly 30 years in the industry, I've seen firsthand what damage falling trees can do to your property. The sad thing is that most trees that fail have defects that can be identified by a well-trained certified arborist. At Timberline, we have 7 ISA certified arborists, 3 of which have gone through extensive training and testing to become tree risk assessment qualified. Our track certified arborists can perform a thorough assessment of your tree and provide mitigation options for your peace of mind. If there's nothing wrong with your tree, we will let you know that it poses a low risk of failure. If it needs to be removed, we'll tell you in a detailed written report. It's all about honesty and integrity here at Timberline Professional Tree Care. So call us today to get a tree risk assessment scheduled, 636-479-7475, or contact us through our website at stltreecare.com.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at $119. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and tell them that KMOX sent you. Spell it forward, spell it backward. It's always the same, Zero Res.
Cards manager Ollie Marble joins the Gas House Gang every Tuesday at noon. Sponsored by Seichman Cancer Center on the voice of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
John Hancock, Michael Kelley, Amy Marks scores with you on a Friday. Well, guys, we are approaching 100 days for the Trump administration, the heralded first 100 days. A lot of things to talk about, a grab bag that we could choose from. But let's start with one of the more recent incidents with Russia launching one of its deadliest strikes on Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, and Trump finally, I guess, expressing some displeasure with his Truth Social post Vladimir Stop saying that it wasn't a good time to strike Kyiv. He shouldn't have done it. I felt like the Vladimir Stop had a very Surrender Dorothy vibe to it, just unserious. What do you make of it, John?
Well, nothing that the United States is doing right now is going to bring about an end to that conflict. And, I think Putin has been emboldened by the American retreat, and therefore you see attacks on Kyiv. Ukraine's never going to agree to recognize Crimea as part of Russian territory. That's part of the U.S. deal that's on the table. And, Ukraine is going to continue to fight and defend their country until there's some overwhelming force. There's some evidence that China now has weighed in on the side of Russia, sending troops into this battle. We know North Korea has as well. And, I think America ignores this at our own peril. And I think the escalation in the broader European theater is a distinct possibility right now.
But are they really ignoring it? Seems to me we've switched sides in the fight. We've said, the president surrendered most of the chips prior to the negotiation, in the sense that, he was saying it was all Zelensky's fault, etc. The bad actors, the strongmen, if you will, seem to be all uniting behind Vladimir Putin, including our president. And even if he comes to an agreement, John, I wonder, how does Europe respond to that? Is this the separation where they say, hey, that's maybe what he thinks, but we're still with Zelensky and we're doing this?
Well, I think Europe is with Zelensky, and I think they'll continue to be with Zelensky. They'll continue to supply military hardware. And I don't see this thing ending anytime soon, and I don't see it ending well when it does end.
It's interesting because this social media post, Vladimir Stop, saying it's not good timing, soldiers are dying, we need a peace deal, was the closest thing we've come to any type of criticism of Putin from Trump or the Trump administration. And we have to step back and realize, Vladimir Putin is a war criminal.
Yeah.
When you look at the tactics he uses when Russian soldiers invaded Ukraine, they used Soviet-style tactics where war crimes like mass rape and torture are features, not a bug. Those are features of Soviet-style tactics, which Vladimir Putin, former KGB agent, likes. He uses those tactics. We talked with Major Garrett about double tap strikes, where you hit a building, you hit a civilian target, and then you wait for all the first responders to come.
And then you hit it
and
again.
then you hit again.
Yep.
This is what he did in Kyiv. And that was what Donald Trump said was an accident after that initial strike. He said, well, I don't think was it last week that this happened? Yep. And Donald Trump said, well, it's an accident. That's not even what the Kremlin was saying. And if there's any type of strike that's not an accident, it's a double tap strike. So how do we reconcile this Kremlin propaganda language coming out of Trump's mouth when he ran back in November on, I could end this thing in 24 hours?
Well, it's not unique to Donald Trump. Look throughout the administration and look at some of the rhetoric that's coming out of the administration. And yeah, it does mirror Kremlin talking points. I don't know how we got here. Vladimir Putin is one of the most evil people on the planet. And he uses his military aggressively. He kills dissidents in his country, pushes them out windows, kills them in prison, blows up airplanes. This is a singularly evil leader in the world right now.
And unfortunately, I'm the Democrat on this panel, but I think that's what Donald Trump likes about him. I think he likes the fact that he's a strong man. I think he likes the fact that when Vladimir Putin, says things and implements stuff, that it gets done and people snap to attention. And if you hear the way that Marco Rubio and many other people in this administration are talking, it's not about the American policy. It's about what Donald Trump wants and our leader, Donald Trump. And I think Donald Trump is taken by these strongmen.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he has an affinity for the strongman. And I know people use the phrase fascists and dictators. And the thing is, I don't think that's how Donald Trump views it. You can definitely draw parallels. I agree with Jonah Goldberg over at the Dispatch, who said it's really a mob boss. He likes the idea of kind of like, I know, guy, if you're good with me, I'll make things go okay for you, but don't cross me. It's that mob boss mentality, which is probably more along Trump's line of thinking than actually fascistic tendencies like Mussolini. He's not studying fascism and dictators, but the reason why he likes them is he likes the way they throw their weight around and come across as the big man on campus.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think there's a lot of truth to that. And when you're in the real estate business in New York City, that, some of those attributes are probably helpful in the business context.
So let's move over to the trade war and the tariffs. And the tariffs that are paused, the tariffs that are carved out. Do you think, John, that we'll continue to see Donald Trump back down a bit, or at least lighten up with the tariffs as the economy continues its trajectory of turmoil?
I'm a little bit more optimistic now than I was a week or two ago. And because I can see a path now where there's been so much dislocation in the market and in the economy that I can see a path where we put things back to where they were, and Donald Trump can claim that as a victory. Because what's needed here is a pathway for the president to be able to claim that he's done something and created something and succeeded at something, and it's better. And the best way to do that is to remove the tariffs, and maybe we're on a path to doing something like that. But I think a lot of damage has been done internationally in terms of America's credibility and being able to trust us. But I no longer believe that this is inevitable, that things are going to blow up. I think we can get back to where we once were with low or minimal tariffs, and the president can say, I did this.
So we had an exercise in jerkology, just where we, jerk the economy up, down, move around, go make everybody mad, put it all back together, literally back to the starting point of day one. And you get to say that you fixed things.
Yeah. I mean, he needs to be able to claim success and victory.
There ain't nothing like starting a fire and putting it out yourself.
Well, yeah.
Well, that's, again, going back to the classic movie While You Were Sleeping with Bill Pullman and Sandra Bullock.
Right.
There's a man in that movie, John, and he's the handsome guy in a suit, right? Great with the ladies, and everybody loves him. Everybody loves him. Yes. And the thing is, one reason why they love him is when he was a kid, there was a squirrel nest that had fallen out of the tree, and he saved the baby squirrels, and he restored the nests. And he got an award for saving the squirrels. And it's not until the end of the movie that you realize this guy, first, he took a rock and threw it at the baby squirrels and knocked them out of the tree, and then he saved them. And that's kind of how I look at this with the economy right now. You can't, if the tariffs are the rock and the squirrels are the economy, he took a rock, he threw it at the baby squirrels, they fell down, and now he's trying to save it. And I think to John's point,
and he left us all nuts. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut your point.
But to John's point, I think in order to back off on the tariffs without looking like he's backing down, he needs an out. I kind of think, and this is shifting to the chaos at with the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, the only way that Pete Hegseth is asked to remove or steps down is if Trump has an out, because he fought hard for Pete Hegseth. Yep. And now there's chaos. We had several members of Pete Hegseth's circle being fired. His chief of staff was just let go or stepped down. I think he was let go. And so you start to see the pieces breaking around him. But I feel like Trump is going to need an out, so it doesn't look like he messed up.
But he better get on it, because inevitably the Secretary of Defense and issues will arise. Some major world conflict will arise, and Pete Hegseth will disappoint him. The president's out on a limb now, because the evidence has been there that this man's not prepared. He's not ready. There's been criticism from even inside of the Republican Party that Pete Hegseth needs to go. they continue to stand by him, they are jeopardizing something major happening and having to own it. Now he won't, but
yeah, I don't think you're going to see any resignation or firing by any of these officials unless and until they're critical of the president, and then they're gone. And I don't think Pete Hegseth is ever going to fall into that camp.
Yeah. All right. Before we wrap up and we move on to baseball, because we got a lot of baseball discussion with John Hancock. What annoys us about the game that we love? We want to make it clear we love baseball. But what
people
are the
who don't cheer?
What are the little things? But before we move on to that, as we go into break, I would love to get Michael and John your thoughts respectively on the summary of the first 100 days.
I think President Trump has delivered on a lot of what his base had hoped for in terms of disruption. Now you can get down to the micro focus. Yeah, he's not stopped the war. He's not brought down the prices. But the thing that I think was appealing to most of the voters of Donald Trump, they wanted to see disruption. They wanted to see this system blown up. And I think you'd be hard-pressed to find, I'm not the historian here, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find another president who's had 100 days of this much disruption, which is exactly what he had hoped to accomplish.
I'd give him good marks on the border, and I'd give him mixed results on the spending, Doge, and I'd give him a failing grade on managing the economy.
He's John Hancock. That's Michael Kelley. I'm Amy Mark Scores. We're continuing our conversation. What annoys you about baseball? We started that conversation yesterday with Matt Pajeski and Chris Ranji. John Hancock, a baseball aficionado, has some thoughts. We'd love to hear from you. You can text us or call at 314-436-7900. You can also leave us a voice message on the Odyssey app. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint by a lot, backed with our 25-year transferable warranty. Paint a house, shield a home. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, steel, aluminum, cedar, and more. We are the only coating company selected by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where all 3 episodes concentrate on unpainted brick. If you maintain or own a business with a tired-looking building, you owe it to yourself to look at Rhino Shield and our beautifully durable color schemes. Evaluations are free. We're making buildings pop and be noticed again, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks, exceeding expectations every day with our products, people, and performance. Now is the time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or go to 877-25rhino.com and see how honest and transparent we really are. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan from McKelvey Homes. Since 1898, we've been building homes of legendary quality with personal service for families in St. Louis for over 127 years. And to mark this special occasion, we are celebrating with our anniversary gift of $18,980 and options on all homes in all communities across St. Louis and St. Charles counties. When you're ready to move up to McKelvey, visit McKelveyhomes.com.
Will new tariffs impact small businesses? Rising costs and economic uncertainty can hurt your bottom line. But with Swish Funding, your business can stay strong. We offer fast, flexible funding solutions from $10,000 to $2 million for working capital, cash flow, and more, and as little as 24 hours with no collateral needed. If your business earns at least $50,000 per month and has been around for over a year, you could qualify today. Go to SwishRadio.com and use code RADIO. SwishRadio.com, code RADIO.
Johns Hopkins University has found that just mild hearing loss doubles your risk of dementia, so hearing loss isn't something to ignore.
But hearing aids are so expensive and ugly.
Not anymore. Meet Audion Hearing. You can get nearly invisible hearing aids without a prescription starting at $98 a pair, and they're ready to use right out of the box. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, and with over 1 million customers, Audion is easy to trust. Visit audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs. You sound very calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
We started Neovitin because we wanted to create a multivitamin for ourselves. That's why we focus on quality ingredients and formulas with our multivitamins. Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins are formulated with over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our 4-ingredient physician-formulated proprietary blend for the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins a try for yourself. Find them at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
It's Tom Ackerman. I've been talking about it for years because we've been enjoying it for years, and that is Innsbruck. Innsbruck Resort, Innsbruck-resort.com. What a place. And the home values have increased 105% in the last 5 years, so it's a great return on investment. The new Sonnenhaus houses are available this year. The modern exterior of a treehouse with cozy interior elements of a cottage. Innsbruck-resort.com.
The Chris and Amy Show is video streaming now on KMOX's YouTube, X, and Facebook pages. Click and subscribe.
Well, I don't like to think that Matt Pajeski is a whiner, that he's whiny. He's not. But he doesn't like the unequal, inconsistent dimensions of ballparks.
Beauty of the game.
Like if a home run is a home run here, it should be a home run there.
That's the beauty of the game.
And so it got us into a conversation. What annoys you about baseball? Ranj was saying a lot of his annoyances were really fixed with some of the rule changes, like the pitch clock and the designated hitter, like not having the pitchers hit anymore. So he feels like a lot of his issues were resolved. John, you're a baseball guy. Do you have a list?
It's short.
Okay.
I'm opposed to socialism.
Are you talking about revenue sharing?
No.
Are you talking about a cap?
No. I'm talking about putting a runner at second base that didn't earn it and just awarding him an extra innings second base, the so-called ghost runner.
Yeah.
It's socialism. Yeah, you score runs in baseball because you earn them or the other team airs them in. You don't score runs because you get some free runner standing on second base in extra innings. It's wrong.
It's a handout.
It's a handout.
Yeah.
It's wrong. It's un-American, and it should be abolished. That's my
Michael.
That's my.
I disagree. I like the fact that we have resolutions to the games now and that they don't go on for 15, 16
You gotta
innings.
earn it, buddy.
Wait, you don't like staying up till 3 a.m. on a random Tuesday in May?
No, and could you imagine being in a press box where you're up till that late and you can't even cheer when it ends? You just have to sit there with a stone face?
You should not have a ghost runner on second base. It's not.
Are you going to call it like the Bernie Sanders rule?
It is. It's socialism.
Well, do you have a problem with them saying, okay, 4 balls, go to first base?
I don't like that.
You don't like
You
that
don't
either.
like that?
No.
John's a traditional.
You got to throw the ball.
What do you feel about the designated hitters?
I don't like it. I've seen home runs hit during intentional walks before.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. That
So,
I agree.
So yeah, that's, again.
I don't like the fact that you can't touch the ball with your mouth and all that other
What?
stuff. You know what? Why not go
Why
ahead?
do you want to?
Why
touch
not
the
let
balls
these
with your
guys lick
mouth?
their fingers and spin the ball harder? I mean, what the heck? If they can
Okay.
have a torpedo bat, a pitcher can't touch his mouth and then go to the ball.
So you want to?
Let them spit on the ball. Let them put it in their hands. What do we
You
care?
want them licking the balls out there?
If that's what it takes.
Well, you don't want to go to a game and see.
No, the
that.
guy who takes his fingers and he licks them, and then he's able to spin the ball.
Well, you can do that.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
You cannot put your hand in your mouth and then go to pitch. You cannot do that.
Well,
I think you can.
I think you
No,
can.
you would be. You
Matt?
would have.
I don't know. I mean,
Are you guys? No. Oh, no, but let them do it. They'll let them touch their hand when it's cold.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they don't want them using their hands to lick because then it makes it easier to spin the ball. I think they ought to be able to spin the ball. I mean, if
they do spin the ball. It's
no,
called
but
a
I mean,
curveball.
why not let them lick it?
But
It's
I
not like
thought-
they're taking an emery board out there.
But doesn't
They're using their own mouth.
I thought their tongue would get like chalky.
Who cares? They're getting $20 million a year. I could put up with that. Chalky mouth.
17 in the case of Miles Michaelis.
Hey, Miles Michaelis, 6 innings, no hit the
Yeah.
other day, and we
No
lost
runs.
that game, or no runs.
Yeah.
We lost that game.
We did.
Okay.
Yeah, and, you know, and
That's a good
we
one.
were talking about Donald Trump earlier. You know, his job approval numbers have gone down, but he is still more popular than the Cardinal bullpen. So, so there's that.
All right, other things I don't like about baseball. I don't like the way I smell when I come home from a baseball
Because you
game.
smell like a hot dog.
And yeah, there's hot dog, also that peanut slash
Yeah.
taco or nacho smell
Yeah.
that seems to, you know, when you get home and you smell your clothes. and you're
Nacho
just like,
cheese
ugh.
does not age well.
No,
I will say one
I
time.
don't think it ages. I think it'll be
Yeah.
the same
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
20 years from now.
Yeah, well, one time we got in the car after a ball game, and after a couple of minutes, we could smell like hot
Mhm.
dogs and nachos really strongly, and we realized that the heated seats were on, so it was like cooking our clothes.
Oh,
like all the hot dog and nacho smell.
Oh, yeah,
Bottle
not
that
good.
up, sell it. I'll buy it.
Not good.
Yeah.
There's
Really?
something
You like
else I
that
don't
smell?
like.
Do you like the infield fly rule?
Oh yeah, you got to have it. You know, otherwise you manipulate the. I mean, yeah, you got to
That was
have
the argument.
you got to have the infield fly rule. The other thing I don't like, which is ridiculous, is the 3 batter minimum. What is that? I mean, you're taking, you know, you've never had it before, and so you're injecting something brand new into the
Well,
game.
But do you remember the games when Tony La Russa would bring a guy in?
Yeah.
And he'd pitch to one batter, and then he'd bring in another
Yes.
guy and pitch it up, maybe a half a batter.
You know what? You know what that's
and
called?
that whole inning took 45 minutes.
You know what that's called?
What?
Managing. And you're having a 3 batter minimum is you're taking the management out of the manager's hands. It's
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong.
So you like the long game. You have no problem with. being
No,
there
I love
forever.
it. You got the people out
You like
there.
when
But
the
do you
guy
go
got-
to bed?
Huh?
Do you go to bed?
Well, I just fall asleep right there in the chair. If the game's boring, I mean, you know, but usually it's not. So kind of stay up.
Oh, well, there you go.
And some of my other gripes would
Yeah.
be sometimes I've gone to the games with a buddy of mine,
Uh-huh.
and he decides he's going to do play-by-play.
Oh, I've heard about this.
Yeah.
This guy, and
Yeah.
it's the whole game, and people are
Oh,
turning
the-
around looking at you.
They
Well,
love
they
it.
paid $100
They
to sit in a
absolutely
ticket
love it.
seat next
They,
to you know.
Yeah.
It
Very Harry
enhances.
wannabe.
It enhances their spectating.
Yeah.
Immeasurably. And
Sometimes
they
I can
love
get
it.
him to do it on snooker when we play snooker. I can get him into a British accent where he'll be like, "Ooh, just off center there.
Where's the cue
Where's
ball
cue
going?
ball going?"
Well, here's what I'm gonna do. John, thank you for sitting in with
My
us.
pleasure.
I'm gonna get you a press pass so
All right.
you can go to
Come
the
on.
Blues game.
No
and
cheering.
I'm not gonna
not
cheer.
cheer. Michael Kelly's gonna hang in for
You're gonna
the
sit there and be
rest
grumpy
of the
with
show.
Amy. Take notes.
Yeah, bring your notebook. I know how to have a good time. It's
See
the
you
Chris
guys.
and Amy Show on KMOX.
Another RX Watch, brought to you by Onder Law.
Welcome back to RX Watch. This alert is disturbing.
Right. A while back, we learned that companies like Johnson & Johnson use a mineral called talc in baby powder and other products.
And studies show that talc, when used for feminine hygiene, can cause ovarian cancer.
Now listen to this. RX Watch has learned that the talc they use is being mined in China.
Right, and talc mined in China contains heavy metal contaminants like chromium and magnesium, which are known to cause cancer. But China doesn't care.
So China gets the jobs and we get contaminated talc in our baby powder.
And ovarian cancer.
Right. With their specialized tests, the medical team at Onder Law can help you know if your ovarian cancer was caused by talc.
Onder Law has helped women for years with free and confidential consultation. You need to call Onder Law's pharma attorneys at 1-800-RX-WATCH.
Call Onder Law at 1-800-RX-WATCH.
That's 1-800-RX-WATCH or go to rxwatch.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey, my name is Nee Addy, and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of Philo, the TV streaming service that puts its audience first. What does that mean? It means no hidden fees and no long contracts. It means 24/7 customer support with real people. And it means the easiest and most affordable way to watch the stuff you love to watch. Live TV from networks like A&E, BET, Nickelodeon, and Discovery. All the groundbreaking blockbusters from AMC+. A huge library of movies and shows on demand that you can stream now or save to rewatch for up to a year and fast forward through commercials. We even have more than 100 channels that are always free, even if you pause or cancel your subscription. And the best part, TV shouldn't break the bank. So all of this is just $28 a month when you sign up at philo.tv. Check us out risk-free. That's philo.tv.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Summer is on the way, or should I say the heat in St. Louis, it's on its way. Be here before we even know it. If you haven't had your air conditioners checked and set up and ready to go for this cooling season, or if you were told you might need a new one, or you just think this is the time of the year, this year is the time to just go ahead and replace it. Prices are down, 0% financing is available. It's still the best time to call me. Don't put it off. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It is 314-293-2600. Again, that's 314-293-2600 in Missouri and Illinois, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
At 10 o'clock, we have partly sunny skies, 69 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. A new measure in Illinois would prohibit schools from using Native American mascots. It's passed the House and is now headed to the Senate. There will be a rally Sunday at 2 at Collinsville High School to stop the bill and allow schools to make decisions at a local level. Here's Superintendent Dr. Brad Skirtich.
If you look at when 1926, when this mascot was chosen, and the K-Hawk mascot as it appears, was for the athleticism, the integrity, and the pride they had in their people.
Skirtich estimates a mascot change could cost the district $750,000 for the gym floor and scoreboards alone. Add uniforms and other things. He says they're pushing $1 million. The St. Louis City Health Director stepping down. In a written statement, Dr. Madi Hachwayo Davis announced she'll be resigning her position, agreeing to stay on during the transition to a new director. She touted her successes, expanding the city's health department staff by over a third and establishing the city's Community Outreach and Communications Bureau, which engaged with more than 10,000 residents last year. Dr. Davis said she will not be answering questions at this time. She was first appointed to the position in 2021. President Trump, along with the First Lady, flying to Rome to attend the Saturday morning funeral of Pope Francis. A congressional delegation going as well. All will be seated in the first third of the mass of world leaders. John Allen, editor of Crux, which covers the papacy and Vatican, has more on ceremonies.
What is unique in this instance, because of the specific instructions and wishes that Pope Francis left behind, is that once this mass wraps up, then the body will be taken through the basilica to a waiting car, where it will begin a journey across the city of Rome to end up in the Basilica of St. Mary Major, which contains a very famous icon of the Virgin Mary, to whom Pope Francis was especially devoted.
Both CBS News and the Associated Press reporting this morning that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth had an internet connection that bypassed the Pentagon's security protocols set up in his office. Sources tell the news agencies the line was set up to use the Signal messaging app on a personal computer. Known as a dirty internet line by the IT industry, it connects directly to the public internet, where the user's information and the website's access do not have the same security filters or protocols that the Pentagon's secured connections maintain. Federal prosecutors formerly filed notice of intent to seek the death penalty for Luigi Mangione in connection with the shooting death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Anna Schechter is senior coordinating producer for crime and public safety at CBS News. She explains how prosecutors plan to present its argument for the death penalty.
They go beyond just the premeditation and the murder, but they actually talk about victim impact. So causing injury, harm, and loss to the family, friends, and coworkers of Brian Thompson. Second on the list in this category is the selection of the site and victim for an act of violence.
The slump in the markets continues today. The Dow from Stifel down 228 points at 39,865. Let's get a check of the forecast now. It's sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating and Air Conditioning and Electrical.
Our latest weather maker is not very strong, but we'll see some showers around this afternoon. Any thunderstorms that pop up would be non-severe. And this is not a situation that will be raining all the time. 78 for the high, but it's around. Tonight, any showers fade quickly this evening, mainly a dry overnight, 55. Last weekend of April looks pretty good. Saturday, partly sunny. It's nice. It's cooler. 69 degrees, partly cloudy Saturday night, 49, and Sunday, partly to mostly sunny, 74. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
We've got sunshine peeking out now, 70 degrees in Florissant, 69 in St. Peter's, 69 downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
While you might not give a hoot about this week's space launch, you sure as sunshine care when your AC goes down. Well, good news, a Jerry Kelley per-producing tune-up is just 98 smackers right this very moment. $98.
JerryKelley.com. Chris Ranchi, Amy Markscores, because life is too short for boring radio. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Michael Kelley sitting alongside me, Amy Markscores. He's filling in for Chris Ranchi, who is wherever it is that he goes. And joining us now on Friday, like he always does, is Scott Jagow, host of KMOX's TIAM Weekend, reporter extraordinaire. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I am. I went to the bowling alley just around the corner from here for my roaming St. Louis.
Which one is that?
Flamingo Bowl.
Yeah, down on Washington.
Yeah, it's got like this Art Deco theme.
Nice.
Kind of pink and blue. You've been in there?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice. It is.
Yeah, very nice.
And I have a history with bowling.
Okay.
At one point, I tried to be a good bowler. I would bowl all the time, every day. And then I got to the point where I was like, okay, I need to elevate my game a little bit, I wanted to get to the next level. So I actually hired a bowling coach. This was in Florida. I went to Florida.
Okay.
Because in Florida, that is where they have this bowling center.
You went to Florida to have a bowling coach?
I was already going to go to Florida for a trip. It just so happens that this bowling center was nearby where I was in St. Petersburg. And this is where the pros go to be coached. So I was like, well, this is the only place in the country. It's called the Kegel Training Center. And so I booked a session with this guy, a whole day. It was several $100.
Oh man.
And I found out that I am never going to be a good bowler.
Why? Well, what's so good? All you're doing is throwing a ball down those.
What I realized is how good the pro bowlers are.
Yeah.
And that their sport is not the same sport as the one that we play.
Okay, but here's the thing.
It is not even remotely resembling that. As I learned, this guy had all this high-tech equipment to help me, and cameras in every angle, and the lanes were oiled properly, which most of them aren't. And
you need greasy lanes.
Right.
You do. I learned this.
Greasy lanes.
Yes.
That sounds like a band name.
I think it's a great name for a bowling alley. You need greasy lanes. But let me play devil's advocate here.
Mm-hmm.
Because you said that you could never be a good bowler. You learned that. Or a professional bowler. And how it's a different game. But here's the thing. If I walked into West County lanes or Shrewsbury lanes, I've accidentally thrown 2 or 3 strikes in a row. I have. I could never walk into Busch Stadium and hit a home run. And if you can accidentally do the best thing in the sport, is it really that hard?
It is to repeat it over and over again. So what I learned was, for example, the oil patterns are all different for the pros. So the oil patterns are completely what the sport is all about. The bowlers get to choose the ones at the top of, like, if you have a tournament, the ones are seated number 1. They get to choose the oil pattern. And if you're not
a pattern, like the way the left to right,
they have different names, like bear claw or whatever. They're all different names. It's the way the lanes are oiled. So the oil might go into the center, or it might go out to the outside. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Is the oil poured on, or is it like rubbed on like waxing a car?
It's more like waxing a car. They have machines that do it. But the point is, the ball responds to that, and the way that the pros throw their balls is you can watch the revolutions on TV. I mean,
Yeah.
it's insane. And some of them bowl with two hands, some of them bowl like almost look like they're bowling backwards. And I'm just amazed because I mean, I can bowl. I've bowled a 260. I have had some good games, but I'm just saying I was humbled by this experience.
And I don't mean to keep going down this rabbit hole, but if you were going to get taught how to be a bowler from the person, you probably owned your own balls too.
Yeah.
Like, is the ball a part of the game
Absolutely.
here too?
Yeah.
And
the
what
ball
have
is definitely part of the
Are
game.
how many balls did you own?
I have two.
Yeah. And
So-
like, were they specially like made like golf
Yeah,
clubs?
absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. So you get fitted for it. So I have two that are fit my fingers and the size that is
So
appropriate.
your fingers don't get like stuck.
Exactly. I mean, I can't even bowl with a lane ball anymore.
Really?
Because I'm so used to.
You can tell the difference?
Oh, absolutely. The holes are in different. It's totally different. So you go to a lane ball and like the thumb hole is huge, and you just can't easily leverage the ball. That's the point of having your fingers fitted to it.
So the greasy lanes and the oiled lanes, that's why every time you go bowling, you feel greasy.
Yes.
It's a very
it gets
greasy
on your
sport.
hands.
Oh,
Yeah.
From the ball.
on the
That's why you
walls.
have the towel to wipe it down. And
Is that why they have the towel?
yeah.
What's the little air thing for? Same deal. Blow the grease off your hair.
Well,
or
that
your hand?
can do that, I guess. But just to dry your hand.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But if you got a ball that's fit to your hand like you, man, and was it a heavy ball, like a 20-pounder? Or?
Well, no, I mean the heaviest, I don't know, 16, 17. I bowl a 15, I think. Maybe a 16. I can't remember.
Is there a limit for how heavy the ball can be?
I don't know if there is.
Like, what if you wanted to bowl
Maybe.
with a 30-pound ball? I feel like
Yeah,
that would damage the
Yeah,
lanes.
I'm pretty sure they don't make those.
Probably cut right through the oil, depending on
That
which
would be-
pattern you were
It would.
using. The bear claw or the.
Just watch the pros do it. It's incredible. I mean, I'm just astonished at how good they are and consistent.
And so this is okay. And I say this because I love watching people who are the best at what they do in the world and pretty much anything. It could be like knitting, but I can't knit. And I think my struggle with bowling is that you can accidentally get a good score, or you can accidentally get 5 strikes out of 10. And then you just would never do that in any other sport. You could never accidentally hit a 450-foot home run off a major league pitcher.
Yeah, but you could accidentally get a hole in one. Hancock did. And
Yeah.
people
real
who play it
golf
every
course.
day who can be okay at golf
Yeah.
have never had one. So
Yeah, that's a good
yeah,
analogy.
there you go.
So I will say my cousin, he and his wife, they're actually coming in town. They're very serious bowlers, and they have like different bowling balls for the types of lane. We were talking about West County lanes, a staple in West County, and how they're with all the storms we had this winter, a support beam broke, so the building's condemned, and they need community support because they've been open since 1965. But they have real wood lanes. And apparently not a lot of bowling alleys. Like none of the new bowling alleys have wood lanes like that
You guys
anymore.
realize like some of the most famous bowlers ever are from St. Louis.
Yes.
I mean, I used to work
Yeah,
at a
this
country
is a
club in
bowling
St. Charles, Bogey Hills, and Dick Weber,
Mhm.
Weber Lanes, who we
Yeah.
all know,
Oh, yeah.
kind of was one of the original pros that made it a revenue making thing. And then his son, Pete Weber, then comes after him, and he's a really unique
Oh, he's-
personality. Pete
yeah.
still runs around town here occasionally. And then we used to have the Bowling Hall of
I know.
Fame.
They moved
It's
it.
a parking lot right now for Ballpark Village, but the Bowling Hall of Fame
Yeah.
when we were
That's
a
right.
kid.
They moved it to Dallas, I think.
Yeah.
is where
Oh,
it
we
is.
lost it completely?
Yeah, I lost it. There's still interesting places though. Saratoga Lanes is one of the
Yep.
oldest in the country. One of the few upstairs bowling alleys that exist anymore. And then there's a place out in St. Charles I'm interested in going to. I think it's 3-pin bowling, and they actually have a person who picks up the pins and sets them again.
Really?
Yeah,
Is
I want to
3-pin
check that
bowling?
out.
Who's the guy that fell asleep for like 100 years?
What are you talking about?
I know.
What is it?
What is his name? I wanted to
Rapun-
say
no,
Rapunzel
Rasputin?
too.
Rasputin?
Rasputin?
No. Anyway,
Rapunzel.
he was bowling. Wasn't that his thing? Is that he was bowling and then he fell asleep for 100 years?
Well, that would put me
Wow, I
asleep.
didn't know that
Yeah.
part of the story.
The 3-pin bowling.
Did you
I
ever
mean.
get a bowling injury?
Yeah.
Would it be a wrist? Would that
Could
be
be a
your
wrist
Yeah.
or your back.
Uh,
The torque on your back a little bit. Can be-
Rip Van Winkle?
Oh, Rip Van Winkle.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew it started with an R.
I think he was 3-pin.
my mom used to make us play Rip Van Winkle in the car. Did you guys ever do that?
No.
So I think Rip Van Winkle, you would tell kids, like, let's play Rip Van Winkle, and it's who can go the longest without talking. I'd lose.
That's amazing.
But it was to keep us quiet.
Well, that's amazing.
You guys never played that game?
No.
All right. So
Yeah.
this weekend,
Yeah.
you got Total Information AM weekend. You said you had a heck of a chat with Stu Mack.
I did, and it's the poor guy has had a really rough couple of weeks. I mean, he got poison ivy.
Oh.
Then he went camping.
Oh.
After he got poison ivy, then he got ticks, and then he got hives. All in the same week. And then he had to go to the DMV.
That's like one of the worst weeks
that
ever.
sounds like torture.
What's he doing today? Getting waterboarded?
Yeah, so awful.
That's a bad week.
And Stu's got a great sense of humor. He's doing fine now, but he was very seriously concerned about his leg. He had a panic attack about it at the DMV.
Oh,
He's
no.
like, I think I might die here.
Yeah.
This is bad. Yeah,
that stinks.
it does. So
and poison ivy, the worst.
John
yeah,
Hancock
he
called
gets
in.
it all the time.
You guys are thinking of Rumpelstiltskin, by the way.
Oh, we are.
No,
Not
it's,
Rapunzel or
it's
whoever.
Rip Van Winkle.
John Hancock called in and said Rumpelstiltskin.
It's not. Rumpelstiltskin was the guy that would
Oh
do the
my God.
golden weave. He would
Okay.
weave with golden threads, and you would say Rumpelstiltskin, Rumpelstiltskin, and he would
Yeah.
weave with golden threads. No, it was Rip Van Winkle who
Yeah,
was
that's
bowling.
true.
All right, John.
Yeah.
Stay focused on driving. You need all your attention there.
These idiots are thinking of Rumpelstiltskin. Okay,
And-
well that's awful, poor Stu.
Yeah. And then I'll probably talk about the Kentucky Derby a little bit. I'll do more on this show next week
Well-
for it, but I will probably because it's next Saturday and the Three Good Things essay airs on Sunday. So I'll probably do it this weekend because I used to work in the business. So I spent more than a decade following the sport all over the world, and I know a lot about it. And so I'm excited. I always get excited at this time of year when the Derby is a week away.
Well, and so Scott is our horse editor. You know how Fred Bottomer is
right,
our
our
health
health
and
editor.
religion
I know.
editor. He's our
Yeah.
horse editor, and Stu is now our monkey editor.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Any monkey news we
And,
get from
and Sean is the
Sinkhole editor.
Sinkhole editor. Yeah.
Well, I'm partial to the monkey editor because I don't know about you guys. I go to that zoo and the monkeys behind it. I don't
You've
think
said
they should
this
be
for a
there.
long time.
Monkeys, they look too much like us.
Yeah, they are.
They should not
amazing.
be in cages.
Michael has brought this up
Yes,
for years
it
now.
bothers
the monkeys
me.
bother
It
you.
I like have to avoid the monkey house at the zoo.
Really?
Yeah, along with the snake house. I pretty much go to the zoo to look at girls in the what do they call them, the big bears and stuff, because I'm afraid of the snakes.
Don't ask.
I'm afraid of the
Don't
snakes.
I just let them roll.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of the monkeys.
Yeah.
Or I feel sorry for the monkeys.
Yeah.
I don't know.
about the penguins?
Tigers look like. Come on, they're little men. They're the best,
They're
right?
so
They're
adorable.
Stinky, though. And Amy, they are
They do
very.
smell.
They may be the stinkiest of. Well, the
Polar
monkeys.
bears. Polar bears are stinky.
You think?
Yeah.
I love the polar bear.
I love them. They
I feel
just they
sorry
smell.
for him too. He's
Yeah,
gonna
I
be in
do feel-
100-degree weather.
I know.
in St.
I don't
Louis.
get that. That one bothers me too.
I will say one of the joys of I'm in Forest Park, Michael. You know it all the
Yeah.
time, running early in the morning, and I take it for granted, but it's so fun. It's like 6 a.m. The sun's coming up, and you hear that deep, guttural roar of the lions.
Mm.
And that's what. And then
That's
and
cool.
I was like running with my friend, and this was years ago when I realized what it was. I go, wait, what was that? He was like, those are the lions, big cat country. And it hit me. Oh my gosh, I'm hearing lions roar in
That
the
is-
park, and they really are louder in the morning because I feel like every time I go to the zoo in the afternoon, I go to big cat country and they're all inside.
Right.
They are.
They're
going-
always laying around.
Yeah,
But I guess
they-
in the morning they may be active.
Yeah.
And that's just like Total Information on the weekend with Scott. Now, in all seriousness, I listen on Sunday,
Oh,
and
I
it
do
is
too.
my favorite program. I love your essays, Scott.
Thank you.
Got some really great essays. And if you want to sound knowledgeable about horse racing, you need to be listening this week
Yeah.
because he's gotten me through many a cocktail party with the knowledge that he imparts.
Yep.
Well, this year the favorite right now is named journalism.
Oh.
Sometimes I just don't like the name choices.
Yeah,
That's just
that's a weird
And there's
one.
another horse in there called publisher.
What?
We've got journalism and publisher.
What?
Some of my other favorite names of possible entries, we have Sandman, Admire Daytona, Render Judgment, and my favorite, California Burrito. So
California burrito.
Those are healthy.
I like the California
I like
burrito.
the California burrito.
Well, thank you, Scott. People can catch you Saturday and Sunday.
Yep. Sunday show is 6:30 to 9:30. We've got Johnny Rabbit, Ackerman on sports. We've got Mike and John, little politics, and whatever comes up. So tune in.
Love it. That's Scott Jagow from the KMOX Newsroom. I'm Amy Mark Scores. He's Michael Kelley. Hey, we've been talking a lot about the Parkway District banning cell phones. We actually talked about it last night on Donnybrook and had a teacher reach out, which is really interesting with some thoughts. So we'll get to that next. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX. Also, if you are going to be hanging out outside this weekend, which you probably will because it's beautiful outside, and really leading into the summer, you need to visit Rottler.com first because mosquitoes they have a way of ruining your time outdoors. I know I love when the weather changes. I love sitting outside on the deck, barbecuing, listening to Cardinals baseball. And I'm always like driven inside because you're just getting eaten up. We've all been at that point when we're hanging out and everyone is like, okay, this is ridiculous. Let's go inside. Well, Rottler can locate and treat mosquito breeding sites because they have a product that is specifically formulated to control mosquito larvae for weeks at a time. So they're treating mosquitoes at the source. They're not just getting the mosquitoes that are flying around. They're also treating mosquitoes at the source. That can significantly reduce the mosquito population around your home. Also, just so you know, they also have protection against fleas and ticks. So in addition to mosquito control, their Signature Plus program is a great way to stop fleas and ticks from invading your yard. So just like mosquitoes, fleas, and ticks, they can carry and transmit potential dangerous diseases to you and, of course, your pets. So you want to protect against that. Visit Rottler.com today. Schedule your free inspection, Rottler.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley telling you about i3 Broadband. It might be time for you to go ahead and switch out your internet. It was amazing when the Pauley household brought in i3 Broadband. The speeds are so much faster. We're saving a few dollars. The service is fantastic. I never have to worry, a storm is coming in. I wonder if my internet's going to go out. They've got local service centers in St. Charles County and the Metro East. It is St. Louis people who are working for i3 Broadband. See if they're available in your neighborhood. Check them out, i3broadband.com.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. Dreaming of a brand new home but don't want to wait? You are in luck. McKelvey has dozens of brand new move-in ready homes with tremendous savings. And take advantage of our special 30-year fixed financing from the Fives. We have a wide variety of luxury custom homes in prime locations, all with McKelvey's legendary quality and personal service. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
The Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup is coming back to St. Louis on May 7th. Join us at Energizer Park for the round of 32 as St. Louis City SC hosts Union Omaha and plays for the historic trophy. Get tickets now at stlcitysc.com/Open Cup.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Vira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand. And IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kellwood, St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
Cardinal Cowboy here. Years ago, doctors said I'd never be independent after a bad car accident. Well, I proved them wrong. When proving who's the best in garage doors, Renner does it every time. Whether it's service or a new door, you're covered with top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster. Keep your garage door running strong with Renner's $100 maintenance check. Or get a free replacement quote. Call or click RennerDoorSTL.com. Renner, forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
KMOX is now on 104.1 FM, the same great station with even better sound.
So the Parkway School District, we've been talking about it this week, decided to go phone-free next year. In high school, the students will have to check their phones in each classroom. They'll have access to their phones in the hallways, at lunch, and immediately after school. The younger grades, like middle school, elementary school, they are completely phone-free, bell to bell. And we talked about this, Michael, Ranj, and I did. We spoke to the superintendent of the Parkway School District. And last night, I joined Charlie Brennan on Donnybrook. We talked more about the phone ban. I am so in favor of it. So in favor of it. And there were some Parkway teachers who saw the Donnybrook conversation and were discussing it. And one Parkway teacher reached out to me and said that they love the phone ban. They actually wish it were bell to bell, meaning when you walk into the building, you put your phone down. You're not using it in the hallways. You're not using it at lunch. You get it back at the end of the day. Like they're saying Parkway doesn't go far enough. And they're grateful that Parkway's banning it, but meaning you could make it a bell-to-bell ban. Charlie Brennan said Clayton has this ban in the classrooms, and he said it's a fly in the ointment because allowing the kids to have their phones in between classes puts more of a burden on the teachers then. As the students walk into each respective class, the teachers have to say, okay, put your phone down, and they have to enforce it.
I don't have a problem with the ban. And I know you as a teacher and an educator are strongly supportive of it.
Mm-hmm.
What is the argument? What is the pushback argument that's coming? Obviously, kids say, hey, we ought to have our phone. But when they have these discussions at school districts, what is the argument people are making that kids should have their phone?
So the biggest one is the most dire, which is what do we do if there's a school shooting or if there's an incident at the school? Another parent brought up their child has special needs and is diabetic, and they use their phone for monitoring different medical conditions. And so my hope would be that you would have some kind of modification or exemption for a student who has a medical condition or maybe a special need. That could be that if you have a bell-to-bell ban.
That sounds awfully DEI. You should be getting banned here.
I'm off the charts, liberal. The thing is, like, if you have a bell-to-bell ban, if there is a student who does need that phone for their medical condition, maybe they're the ones who can put it at the front of the classroom. And the thing is, yes, for emergencies, for a violent situation, the teachers are going to have a phone in the classroom, and maybe there are multiple phones. Like maybe you have the teacher has their phone, and then there's a phone in the back of the room as well, or something that you could access in case of an emergency. I don't know exactly the answer, but I said we unleashed this technology on the kids. It's up to us, the adults, to save them from it.
What about the older kids just leaving them in their lockers? I mean, when you go to work in life, you got to go to meetings without your phone, and then you have to check it afterwards. The idea of putting the onus on the teacher doesn't make any sense to me. I like the ban.
Yeah, I like the bell-to-bell ban. I feel like that is a little bit easier.
Makes sense for young kids, especially.
Hey, St. Louis City SC Academy Director and broadcaster Dale Schilly joins us next. He's going to talk about that tie with Vancouver, but also City SC plays LAFC Sunday. That's next.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Johns Hopkins University has found that just mild hearing loss doubles your risk of dementia, so hearing loss isn't something to ignore.
But hearing aids are so expensive and ugly.
Not anymore. Meet Audien Hearing. You can get nearly invisible hearing aids without a prescription starting at $98 a pair, and they're ready to use right out of the box. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, and with over 1 million customers, Audien is easy to trust. Visit audienhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Will new tariffs impact small businesses? Rising costs and economic uncertainty can hurt your bottom line. But with Swish Funding, your business can stay strong. We offer fast, flexible funding solutions from $10,000 to $2 million for working capital, cash flow, and more, and as little as 24 hours with no collateral needed. If your business earns at least $50,000 per month and has been around for over a year, you could qualify today. Go to swishradio.com and use code RADIO. SwishRadio.com, code RADIO.
You might know Graybar for cable and connectivity, but there's one more thing you should know us for that can help optimize your project's total value, like our comprehensive electronic solutions for security, AV, wireless, and networking, or our specialized job site services, like material staging and kitting, or maybe our logistics specialist, who can help you identify efficiencies and ensure just-in-time delivery. So consider what one more thing you may need to optimize your bottom line and get to know us for that. Yep, Graybar does that.
If you or someone you know suffered any injuries involving a deployed airbag, you could be entitled to compensation. Morgan & Morgan has already recovered millions. Get America's largest injury law firm fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Currently, it is 70 degrees downtown in St. Louis. Mostly cloudy today. Partly sunny this afternoon with scattered rain and thunderstorms really just throughout the entire day. A high of 80 degrees. Tonight, mostly cloudy. A low of 54. A few early evening showers are possible. Tomorrow, partly cloudy. A high of 69 degrees. And Sunday, mostly cloudy. A high of 74. Weather sponsored by the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
I love the way he articulates things together, examples with all his stage members up there at all different levels, which is wonderful to see and inspiring.
That's Orlando on his Expo experience. It's coming again. Join Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited for Expo 2025, May 7th through the 10th in Irving, Texas. Get hands-on training from successful real estate investors and learn proven strategies that work. Find out more and save $100 when you text EXPO to 88007, EXPO to 88007.
When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
This is Tom Ackerman. McKelvey Homes, founded in 1898, gives $1,898 back to nonprofits for every home that they sell. 1898. And this time around, it's to Circle of Concern, a food pantry in Valley Park. Most recently, McKelvey Homes gave back to the Foster and Adoptive Care Coalition for the 28 homes that they sold in the first quarter of the year. McKelvey Homes, McKelveyHomes.com.
Tonight, the Cards, the Brewers. Ameren Total Access 620. Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Back, Morales gobbles it up. City defensive side, middle third. Nothing affair. 59th minute, Energizer Park. Valum, big diagonal, cross-field ball, headed on the sideline by Watts back to Hartle. Ahmed does enough.
Well, it was a tie. That's how that game ended up. City SC draws with Vancouver. 0-0. Is that how they say? Do they say nil in soccer? I think they say nil. They do play LAFC this weekend, Sunday. Holy cow, Sunday's a heck of a day for St. Louis sports. You've got Blues playoff game number 4, the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Brewers, and City SC taking on LAFC. And to preview that game and to talk all things soccer is Dale Schilly, St. Louis City SC Academy Director and broadcaster on Y98. Dale, thank you for joining us on this lovely Friday.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
All right. I'm going to be completely honest, Dale. I feel like what I'm about to say, I'm nervous saying it to a real soccer guy, a real soccer person. Sometimes I struggle with the idea of a tie. I struggle with all the ties. I kind of want the satisfaction of a win or a loss. Do you ever get frustrated with the draws in soccer, or is that just part of the game?
Yeah, it's part of the game. Although, the league has done some experimenting with the 2 team with the MLS Next Pro, and in certain events with the Academy, when games end up in draws, they go straight to a PK shootout, and they do like hockey where they give you an extra point if you win the PK shootout. So they're doing a little experimenting. We'll see how that goes. I'm okay with the draw.
Okay.
I think that I just grew up with it, and I'm okay with it.
A lot of people don't like shootouts, and I know you said you're okay with the draw, but do you feel that way? Do you feel that the shootout isn't a real result because it almost feels like luck?
It's not luck so much. It's just such an advantage to the shooter. And it really isn't an indicator of how the game was played. A team could sit in and defend the whole game and end up, getting a shutout, and both teams are held off the board, and then that team would win and be rewarded for not coming out of their shell and trying to play. So it may actually slow the game down a little bit. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's luck so much. It's just not a true indicator of how the game was played. But from the fans' perspective, it is exciting.
Yeah.
It is tense. It does create a moment for the fans for sure.
Dale, what last point on this? I will say I was laughing during the last World Cup. There was some sports commentator, I don't remember who it was, but just getting such a kick out of the no pun intended, out of the shootouts, that he said every sport should end in a shootout, whether it's baseball or hockey. Like, all right, it's a tie after 9 innings. We're going to start kicking soccer balls, which I thought was kind of funny.
Dale, well, I guess he promoted the game at least.
Right.
Dale, they don't seem to have this impatience with ties over in Europe. Has there been any movement to change the way that the standings are done over in Europe?
You mean in terms of like promotion and relegation?
Coming
and
to
down?
shootouts. I mean, do they go to shootouts over in Europe?
No, only in events. Like a certain levels of Champions League or FA Cups, and that kind of, when they get to a certain stage in a game. What they do over there is in a lot of the competitions, they'll do replays. So, if this was a competition, not just a league game, but a tournament, we would have played Vancouver. And since we tied, then we would then travel on a subsequent date to Vancouver to play again. And then if that was a tie, they'd have an overtime period and a penalty shootout.
And speaking of the European players, obviously we all know Messi came over and so many other European players. What's the state of the MLS? Is it becoming one of the premier leagues that is able to compete for the best talent in the world?
I would say that in years past, we were looked at, not a retirement league, but we were attracting players that were towards the end of their career. I think for the highest level players like Messi, who's I believe 37 now, that would be the case. But we are attracting high-level players at a younger age. Are we considered one of the top leagues in the world? No, not yet. But we are better. We are perceived to be better than what we were. We have surpassed some of the second-tier leagues across the world, but we're not at the same level as Germany, Spain, England, to name a few.
Dale, what are your thoughts on the recent acquisition of Silva in a trade with Atlanta? What do fans need to know about him?
Yeah, so very, super athletic, good 1v1 dribbler, will add a sense of, a dynamic sense to the game in that he can run at people. He can help stretch the game, meaning we can play through balls and he can run onto them. Certainly be one of the faster guys in the group, can help threaten the goal. And hopefully that helps loosen things up in the center of the field for Klaus and Betcher and Teuscher, some of the guys that could use a little bit more room to maybe create some chances and score some goals. So I think the thought is that this is gonna help stretch the game a little bit, give us a threat in behind, but also help loosen things up for the guys in front of goal. Because, as you played in your clip, we need a little more we need to create a little more, some more chances and some more goals.
Why do you think that City is not able to create the offensive scoring chances that they did in the first year, but even last year, right? They're struggling a bit more.
Yeah, I would just say that, the Olaf has taken an approach of let's sit a little bit deeper, let's defend our goal first, and try to eliminate the opportunities for the other team, and then let's find our moments to get forward and create chances that way, whether it's on restarts, counterattacks, or through possession. And, you see through his player selection, you see us now creating more chances. We haven't been able to, really find our way to finish them in a way that we can start getting 3 points instead of a draw or near misses. But yeah, I would say, just we're winning the ball deeper on the field than higher up the field. And year one, certainly we were winning the ball way up the field and were able to get the goal within a pass or two, but it was exposing us at the back. So I think Olaf has taken a more conservative approach. And in the beginning, we were able to sneak out a couple of results, but now we're, a little bit of a lull. I think the last two games we're starting to see a resurgence. Hopefully this weekend out in LA, we're able to, to go full circle and find 3 points.
What should fans expect from this LAFC team?
Yeah, they're always one of the better teams. They've got big name players. And, last game, don't remember who they pull out, Portland. They have a French player, center forward, who's a World Cup veteran, played for Arsenal and Chelsea in the English Premier League, a guy named Olivier Giroud, scored his first goal in the league. And so if he's starting to get on track, he's a center forward. If he's starting to get on track, then that's gonna be a difficult challenge for us. He's a big, strong, good center forward, and they've got some athletes around them that can get in behind us. A guy named Denny Bouanga, who's one of the better attacking players in the league. So it's going to be a tough game for us. It always is when we go out there. It's a big challenge, but hopefully we're able to continue sort of on this, playing forward and creating chances like we have these last couple of games, maybe a few more, and maybe we're able to find the net.
It's so interesting with sports in general. There are ups and downs with the teams. Obviously, winning covers a multitude of sins, but every team's going to struggle. We've talked a lot about the Cardinals are struggling this year. They're not where the fans are used to them being. Obviously, they're the Cardinals, a passionate fan base. With City SC, there was so much, pomp and circumstance and celebration with them coming to St. Louis. But as they settle into being one of St. Louis's professional teams, it's not so much the newness as it is. And granted, they're still new, but it's not so much the newness as they're one of our teams now. They're representing St. Louis. How has that been for the players going through that inaugural season, having success, now struggling a bit, and just having to keep pushing their way through this struggle?
Yeah, I think I've said this before, that this seems a little counterintuitive, but one of the most difficult situations and the biggest challenges for the club was going 5-0 in our first 5 games.
Yeah.
And what the expectations then were for what success was going to look like for the immediate future. And look, we won 5 games, but we weren't necessarily the better team in each one of those 5 games. There were some breaks that went our way, and the ball fell for us, and we were able to score some goals and sneak a ball past a goalkeeper when now it's not. So I think just the expectations that were set from those early days and those early results, and we all remember what those first 5 games were like and how exciting everything was, the stadium, the games on TV, just everything about it. So, now it's become a real grind. It's been really difficult on the players because a number of the guys were here for that inaugural season and those first 5 games. So it's a real grind for them, and they're sticking to it, and they're trying to get through it and find that momentum again. And right now, I think the real focus is how can we turn it around so we can make the playoffs and bring the playoffs to the fans.
Well, it can happen. The St. Louis Blues figured it out. I mean,
wow,
right? It's been fun.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the 2019 season, worst to first, as everyone said. But this year, going on that 12-game winning streak, they looked amazing last night. Do turnarounds kind of work the same way in MLS?
Oh, 100%. Momentum is so important. And when you put it all together, if you remember year 1, we went through a lull leading into the playoffs, and we were ousted early. So you want to catch fire at the right time for sure. You just got to make sure you're above the playoff line. The Blues, snuck in there.
Oh man, yeah.
And now look at them. They're playing the number 1 seed and going toe to toe with them, and hopefully are able to pull it out. So yeah, momentum's important. Same way in the MLS as it is in the NHL.
That is Dale Schilly, St. Louis City SC Academy Director and broadcaster on Y98. City plays LAFC Sunday evening at 6 p.m. It's perfect while you're driving home from the Cardinals game. You can listen to City Soccer on Y98. Dale, thank you so much.
And we're going to bring a winner back. We're going to bring a winner this time.
Let's do it. Thank you, Dale.
All right. Bye.
That is Dale Schilly over on our sister station, Y98. You can listen to some City Soccer. When they tie, Michael,
0-0
yeah, or 1-1. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we break out a Bud Light, and we play some American clips just to kind of bring back, like, hey, we're gonna get a win or a loss here. I think ties are un-American. No ties. He's Michael Kelley. I'm Amy Mark Scores. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
I don't know if you heard with them, these energy mandates. Luckily, this year they stopped the continuation of this government mandates, but the new refrigerants did not stop, so that is out. So be careful, buyer beware on what you're purchasing. If you're looking for a new system and just want a common sense approach to picking a system, i.e., are you going to save money? Is your energy bills going down? All the stuff that we've been hearing for about the last 25 years. Bottom line is, when it comes to the efficiencies, it's going to be your house. I only have 60 seconds to do this in, so if you want a common sense approach and you are looking at purchasing a system or getting prices on systems, please call me. It's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600. 314-293-2600, or on the internet is bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Chuck McDowell here. If you were misled or lied to in any way when buying a timeshare, right now is your wake-up call. With the tariffs, economy tanking, and inflation rising, you might need to ask yourself this question. Is owning a timeshare a good idea? With all the economic uncertainty, you need to protect yourself and your family. Don't look back and say, if I'd have only got rid of that stupid timeshare they lied to me about. It's time to stop thinking about canceling your timeshare and finally get rid of it and be smart with your money. At Wesley Financial Group, we've saved 48,000 families an average of $65,000 in lifetime payments. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare permanently or you'll pay nothing.
Call Wesley for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-854-4040. 800-854-4040. 800-854-4040.
Ready for instant curb appeal that comes with a 25-year transferable warranty? Call Rhino Shield today. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, aluminum, steel, cedar, and more. Over the past 20 years, we've done thousands of homes, businesses, churches, schools, condos, parking garages, large metal buildings, and strip malls, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks. We do flat and sloped metal roofs to extend their lives too. Proud to be veteran-owned and manufactured in the good old USA, so we're tariff-free. We're exceeding expectations every day. Evaluations are free. A+ rated with the BBB and a lot of 5-star Google reviews. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't hate, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hi, Stacy with Fairwinds River's Edge Senior Living in St. Charles. Are you a senior seeking a fun retirement? Do you want less work and more play? Do you want to enjoy great food that you don't have to cook? Then I know. Stop what you're doing right now and call Fairwinds. Set up a time to visit and have a meal. Meet some of our awesome residents. Check us out online at fairwindsriversedge.com. We hope to talk with you soon.
Are you a small business owner who needs immediate cash flow? At Swish Funding, we have flexible funding options from $25,000 to $2 million. For the best rates and terms for your business, just one application to Swish Funding gives you access to our entire network of funders, with cash in your account in as little as 24 hours. To qualify, you must be in business for at least 1 year with monthly revenue of $50,000. Apply at swishradio.com and use code RADIO. swishradio.com, code RADIO.
Chris and Amy now. The Dave Glover Show at 1 on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Michael, did you see this?
Did you?
I did.
I saw a bunch of things that I want to talk about.
All right, what'd you see?
Well, number one, I was watching the hockey game last night.
Yes.
And that first period, there was buzzing and stuff. I think you were at the hockey game.
Mm-hmm.
You were in the press box taking notes.
In my suit.
And what happened is the public address announcer, Mr. Calhoun, I think, made the announcement of Tony La Russa. Listen to this. So that was the ovation that Tony La Russa received last night, being put on the board.
They played a clip. I think it was from the 2006
Right.
World Series. 11 World Series. Sorry, 2011 World Series. And the crowd like, oh yeah, there's the Cardinals. And you always
And
wonder,
then,
why are
boom.
they playing that? Then they zoom in on Tony La Russa, who's like
Oh,
at
awesome.
glass level. And he stands up. The crowd goes crazy. What I thought was super cool. The entire Blues bench tapping their sticks, all the coaches clapping.
Well, how can you not?
I
He
love
is a
it.
legend that transcends sports.
Yeah. He
And-
looked good.
Yeah, he did.
He looked good.
He did. He
Yeah.
looked a lot better than he did wearing that White Sox uniform, falling asleep on the bench. And he was in the front row, folks. I mean, he was right there
He was
for
right
the action.
there. He was.
Yeah.
That was him banging on the glass.
He was doing exactly what Amy Markscourse was
Yeah.
not doing, which was cheering for our St. Louis Blues because
Okay.
she was up there.
Well, speaking of that,
Yeah.
did you see this?
What?
The coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs is Craig Berube, our old coach. Chief. Love Craig Berube. I love Jim Montgomery. Love Craig Berube. Two best coaches, right up there with Paul Maurice, who's the coach of the Florida Panthers. But there's this video that's going viral of the Toronto Maple Leafs who are playing the Ottawa Senators. They score a goal. The Toronto Maple Leafs do. The bench, goes crazy. And the assistant coaches start kind of jumping and clapping. And Craig Berube kind of chastises Mark Savard, the assistant coach. There's a video of him looking at him. He's like, looks like he's like, calm down, kind of pats his shoulder. And so that was that video of like, whoa, look at Coach Berube here telling his assistant coaches to calm down. So he was asked about it. And Berube said, we ask the players to be composed. That goes for us too. Yeah. Like, hey, it's a long postseason. Don't get so excited. I loved it. Matt, I asked you about it. You said you agree too.
Yeah, I think it's similar to us in the press box. You don't jump up and down and wave your arms around. And if you're the coach, I think you should be composed as well.
If you're the assistant coach, you shouldn't be making a bigger scene than the head coach.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a problem with coaches reacting. I mean, I've seen Tony La Russa and Ali Marmol jump to the top of the dugout on a home run, etc. But maybe Berube's got my favorite Taylor Swift song, playing in the locker room, that you need to calm down.
Oh my gosh, she's a Swiftie.
Are you not a Swiftie?
No.
Why?
Because it's the same 3 notes over and over.
I understand, but what's wrong with that?
Whiny. I don't know. It's just not my thing. Hey, you know what though? She's very successful. I don't want to poo-poo Taylor Swift and then get in trouble. It's subjective. It's like, I will say this. I think, okay, I have 0 U2 songs on my Spotify playlist. I never listen to U2, but I can objectively say they're one of the greatest rock bands of all time. I get it. They're just not my style. Taylor Swift is the most successful pop star of all time, or one of them, or whatever, up there, with the Beatles and Michael Jackson. It's just not my style, and that's okay.
Yeah.
My style, nobody likes anyway.
I like U2. I never listen to U2, though, you and Ranj. I'm just kidding. Ranj, out of town. I'm with you all day today.
That's right. Okay, did you see this? I do want to say this. Do you remember when Nike did the sub 2-hour marathon with Eliud Kipchoge, how they got this race course? It wasn't legal. It doesn't count because in order for a world record to count in the marathon or in any race, you have to be on a certified course and a sanctioned event. And this we just want to show it's possible to run a marathon in under 2 hours, which he did. They had a phalanx.
I do not remember this, but I get the premise.
They did a whole documentary on it. So they're doing a new project, and it is with Faith Kipyegon. And she is of Kenya, and they're trying to have her be the first woman ever to break the 4-minute mile.
Oh, my.
So no woman has ever run a sub 4-minute mile. Obviously, humans have. Roger Bannister, the famous story, back in the 50s. And to be a top miler as a male, I think the world record for a man is 3:43 in the mile, which is insane. But no woman has ever broken the 4-minute mile. So Nike's doing a moonshot campaign. They're calling it Breaking 4, Faith Kipyegon versus the 4-minute mile. And again, I don't think it will count because you have to do it in a sanctioned race. They're just saying we want to do it,
show that it can be done.
Show that it can be done, and then get that critical mass.
Give me some perspective. When you were at the height of your training, what would a mile timeout at?
I don't know because I never.
5 miles, 6 minutes.
I mean, probably on a good day, I could break 5.
Wow.
Probably on a good, like the best day, if I trained for just the mile. But barely. Like that would be my peak. Like say I ran 4:59.
Wow.
That'd be my peak.
Incredible.
Not even close to what these women are running. He's Michael Kelley. I'm Amy. Mark scores. We've got Annie Fry next.
She's going to the White House.
She is going to the White House, but before that, she has a pep rally about the mascots and kind of that controversy that's going on in Illinois with House Bill 1237. Annie Fry joins us next.
Hey St. Louis, this is Ben Barnett, board-certified master arborist and owner at Timberline Professional Tree Care. As a local small business owner for the past 24 years, I always do my best to shop local and support our community. Recently, 2 of the largest tree contractors in the region have sold to out-of-town investment groups. This means that the new owners of these companies are not invested in quality, customer satisfaction, or safety, except for how it affects their bottom line. Timberline Professional Tree Care was founded in 2001 and is focused solely on giving you, the customer, the safest, highest quality product while providing the best customer service before, during, and after the job. I've poured my heart and soul into tree care for the past 24 years, and we aren't going anywhere. When it comes time to take care of your trees, I ask that you shop local and call me, Ben Barnett at Timberline Professional Tree Care, 636-479-7475, or online at stltreecare.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to Big Wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Chuck McDowell here. If you were misled or lied to in any way when buying a timeshare, right now is your wake-up call. With the tariffs, economy tanking, and inflation rising, you might need to ask yourself this question. Is owning a timeshare a good idea? With all the economic uncertainty, you need to protect yourself and your family. Don't look back and say, if I'd have only got rid of that stupid timeshare they lied to me about. It's time to stop thinking about canceling your timeshare and finally get rid of it and be smart with your money. At Wesley Financial Group, we've saved 48,000 families an average of $65,000 in lifetime payments. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare permanently or you'll pay nothing.
Call Wesley for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-854-4040. 800-854-4040. 800-854-4040.
At 11 o'clock, we have partly sunny skies, 71 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. The FBI has arrested a Milwaukee judge accused of helping a man evade immigration authorities. FBI Director Kash Patel announced the arrest of Judge Hannah Duggan on social media. Patel claims Duggan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from a man they were trying to take into custody at her courthouse. CBS News' Scott McFarland has more.
Judge Duggan may have expected this because it had been reported over the past few days she was under investigation in this incident. She's had no platform or opportunity to explain what happened in those sequence of events alleged by the FBI director, but we suspect that'll come out quite quickly in any criminal case.
The arrest comes amid a growing feud between the Trump administration and judiciary over the White House's immigration enforcement policies. The Associated Press reports court documents detailing the case against the judge were not immediately available. President Donald Trump's handling of immigration remains a point of strength, according to a new poll. The survey from the Associated Press Nork Center for Public Affairs Research finds that 46% of U.S. adults approve of Trump's handling of immigration, yet about half of Americans say he's gone too far when it comes to deporting immigrants in the U.S. illegally. More opposed than support revoking foreign students' visas over their participation in pro-Palestinian activism. An Arch medical helicopter crashed last night during a training exercise in Hartford, Illinois, west of South Roxana. Air Methods, the company that runs Arch, says the helicopter was departing from the Hartford fire station when it went down. 3 crew members aboard were transported to local hospitals for evaluation. The Hartford Fire Department says it's working with Hartford Police, the FAA, and Air Methods to investigate the cause. A Farmington man facing charges after allegedly vandalizing multiple properties in South St. Louis County. Prosecutors say 29-year-old Jacob Abernathy was caught on surveillance throwing rocks through a window at St. Luke's Church on Telegraph Road. He's also accused of damaging nearby businesses the same day. After being briefly released from jail, Abernathy allegedly struck again, this time at a Value City store on Chippewa. Police say he was wearing the same clothing during both incidents and admitted to the damage. He's being held on $25,000 cash-only bond.
We like to call it the AI workforce of the future.
That's senior lead for AI development firm Scale in St. Louis. A summit about the defense tech community being held here. AJ Siegel tells Total Information AM.
The majority of our workforce comes from non-traditional tech backgrounds. So baristas, teachers, artists, and veterans. Over half of them are under 30. Most of them are new to AI, and most are new to tech altogether.
St. Louis-based gas utility Spire has appointed a new president and CEO. Scott Doyle was most recently Spire's executive vice president and chief operating officer. His previous position was with CenterPoint Energy in Houston, Texas. He succeeds Steve Lindsay, who resigned from the post. Stocks mixed today. The S&P 500 is up 6 points now at 5,491. The Dow from Stifel is down 136 points at 39,956.
We will see a few showers around from time to time, and if a thunderstorm gets going, it's non-severe, not raining all the time. 78 for the high, so it stays quite mild. Then tonight, any showers fade quickly this evening, 55. The weekend, Saturday, partly sunny. It's a nice day, though. It's a cooler day, 69 degrees. All is quiet Saturday night. Sunday, partly to mostly sunny and 74. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
Partly sunny skies, 73 degrees in Florissant, 71 in St. Peters, and mostly cloudy skies, 71 downtown at the Arch. One traffic note for you. If you are crossing the Poplar Street Bridge into Illinois on 5570 this hour, there is a backup right after you get across the bridge all the way up to the 64 split, and that is due to construction. I'm Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
DEA's National Prescription Drug Takeback Day. Learn more at DEATakeback.com.
Help keep our communities safe and healthy during National Prescription Drug Takeback Day, April 26th. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent drug misuse before it starts.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Well, there's been some recent legislation passed by the Illinois House of Representatives, and it's drawing some praise, it's drawing some criticism, and it has to do with mascots. Specifically, the bills would prohibit the use of Native American names, logos, and mascots, and restrict schools and educational institutions from continuing to use those mascots that are deemed inappropriate. And some of the pushback is coming from the local communities like Collinsville and Freeburg. And down the hall, a friend of ours, Annie Fry, host of the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 KFTK. She is hosting a Save Our Mascots pep rally that is going to unify Illinois schools against this Illinois House Bill 1237. She joins us now. Annie, how are you doing? Annie there?
Huh. That's what it sounds like when I try to tune into 97.1.
We'll try it one more time. Well, hang on. But just a couple of notes. The Save Our Mascots pep rally is Sunday at 2 p.m. at the Collinsville High School football stadium. So when we get Annie, we'll get some more information about that, because this is something, Michael, that has been in the news over the past few years, kind of starting with the national teams,
right?
Like
Washington
the
football team and the Cleveland Indians and the change. Look, I think some of these mascot names are offensive and probably should be reworked, but I never understood the core principle of a mascot is somebody who's emblematic of the team that you're supporting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something you hold up in reverence. It's something you're rooting for. You're putting it on your chest. So I don't find the words Indian or, the words that have been used to be offensive, because I look at mascots as something we lift up. Now, I guess there are some words that are derogatory.
Yeah.
That probably should be kept out. I'm kind of interested on where Annie's at on that, because as it relates to the Native American stuff, I kind of agree with her.
Yeah. So there's what Annie has posted with her Save Our Mascot pep rally. She said basically they're seeking to ask for local control over the issues. So it'd be a nonpartisan, positive assembly of people. And I do like the idea of the local control, the local decisions, instead of across the board, here's what you can and can't use. Because I think it does need to be a case-by-case basis. I can see how the Washington Redskins which was the original team name.
Right.
It's not great. It was used as a derogatory term originally, even though when you pick something, a name as your mascot, it's because you are lifting it up. You're saying this is who we are. But I get how you'd want to change that name. There was even some mixed feelings from within the Native American community. Some didn't care. Some of the Native Americans, the Washington Post did a big story on it, and a lot of the Native Americans were fine. There were some who were not okay with it.
Right.
So maybe leave that to a local decision. I was kind of surprised with the Cleveland Indians that now their mascot.
They didn't like the picture of the Yahoo.
I do think,
or the Wahoo, I think is what they call
I think the picture was a little offensive.
I
wasn't. I mean, it was like kind of like
I don't see it. But then again, I'm not a Native American, and so I don't know what that like. Now, I know that when I played baseball when I was a kid, we had the Bantam division, we had the midget division, we had lots of words, and I think some of those words have been used for mascots in the past. Whether it be midgets, etc. I don't know. I see that a little bit different than I see the Indians or the Redskins. I don't see that as.
So just as a quick heads up, 314-436-7900. You can text us. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this issue about mascot names. 314-436-7900. We have Annie Fry on the line. Annie, we were just talking about your Save Our Mascots pep rally specifically, and tell me if I'm right here, the mascots that are affected in your area, the Warriors, the K-Hawks, the Indians, and the Midgets, correct?
Yeah, those are some of them, and it gets even broader than that. And I think if you, when you start to dig into the history of the state of Illinois, which is a Native American related name of the state, and of course we are fighting Illini, and there's a lot of respect that is involved in, the implementation of something like that as a school mascot. This means a lot to a lot of people in the state of Illinois because, we're talking about Native American history and heritage, of course, which deserves the utmost respect. I think that the opportunity that is being missed right now by the Illinois state legislature that is looking to mandate that by September 1st of 2028, all requirements must be met by HB 1237. And I think it's really important. My angle on this now, in my career of being in school, I was an Illinois student my whole life. I've been an Eagle, I've been a Knight, I've been a Tiger, and I've been a Cougar. So I have none of the places that I've gone to school personally have been affected by this bill that's going to be implemented. Should the Senate pass it, the House has already passed it. My advocacy here is for local control. The idea that a Rockford state representative is going to implement this, in my opinion, virtue signaling to these schools that are all across the state that have personal relationships with a lot of communities that actually do support the name. Maybe people out of town don't support the Muscuda Indians, but people in town do understand it. They have relationships with that are historically connected to the honor that they provide the mascots that they have in these schools. My advocacy here is local control.
Yeah.
Muscuda decides we got to get rid of the Indian. We're over this. And the community says we're ready to invest the $2 to $3 million taxpayer dollars, local taxpayer dollars to change this. Then that community should 100% say it's time to move on. But we don't need out of district representatives wagging their finger in the faces of the Collinsville K-Hawk, Cahokia, I think Calhoun, Carlisle, Freeburg even, and Freeburg, you guys said that's kind of a different one. I see how that might be different in some people's eyes. Let Freeburg make that decision. They don't need a state. Illinois has got some other problems to address rather than this. Maybe they could focus on this, and then they could persuade the local communities to, why don't you consider possibly doing something different and see what they have to say?
Yeah, two things. Number one, what's the chances of this bill passing? And isn't it also an unfunded mandate to say that you have to change it because you just enumerated that it's a couple $1 million for a community?
Oh, sure. I'm thinking of specifically our pep rally Sunday at 2 p.m. It's going to be at the football stadium at Collinsville High School. We had to pick a place that was public that hopefully we get a good crowd, but we're inviting all schools who want to rally. It's going to be kind of like a big class reunion for a lot of these different places. all positive. It's nonpartisan. I want every Republican and every Democrat to say, let the local taxpayers make the decision to make this change. And, you know, the amount of money, I know Collinsville specifically, the superintendent for this Collinsville School District is going to be speaking at this event. I believe the Granite City School superintendent is as well. I know the Mosquito superintendent has been involved in the process. But Collinsville just put in a brand new, beautiful mascot representation, their school logo, in the middle of their gym floor. They just did it. The taxpayers just paid for that. It was just fine with the taxpayers to do that right now. They're going to have all of that compliant by 2028. It's not a responsible use of the state legislature's time. If there are people who want to lobby for Collinsville to change it, then go lobby Collinsville. But I think if you go to Collinsville right now, you're going to see these folks love the Quahog. The Quahog is not actually a tribe; it's kind of a derivative of Cahokia, which is a worldly historical place. Go tell those people that you'd like to see them change and see if you can get some traction there. And if you can't, don't force upon the people who are going to have to fund it. Take money out of the classroom, out of textbooks, out of technology, out of paying teachers what they deserve. Don't take that money out of there and redo the gym floor. That seems absurd to me.
Yeah, Annie, your pep rally actually brought this House bill to my attention. I didn't know about it before that. And it's one of those things. We've lost the ability, I think, to have serious conversations and nuance because maybe there are some mascots that need to change, but then to go in with a statewide mandate that would affect, I guess, even the Warriors. We had a texter, a texter said, good gracious, how is the Warriors offensive? And I'm thinking, well, if the Warriors are offensive, wouldn't you have to change the Kansas City Chiefs? Like, it's just so, it never
How about the Chicago
ends.
Blackhawks?
Yeah.
And then, here's another thing. And if you guys are trying to fill time on the radio, which we have already done on my show, go look at the funniest mascot name. There's a school in Illinois that's called the Apple Knockers. That's a real true story. That
sounds
is the mascot.
obscene.
That's gonna be okay. But I also want to
What
know.
part of Illinois is that, Annie? I may need to go by there.
Yeah, I
He's
know. And
inappropriate.
there's some other treats. We had some fun with it. But here's the other thing. If you can't have the midgets, I don't think you can have the giants. We can't be saying short people can't be represented, but tall, big people can. It's really. I could go all day with it. It's absurd.
I know, and I don't even know, like, if you got into the etymology of midget, because with hockey, there's bantam midget, right, and minor midget, and it's like something that you haven't thought about, and so would they change the hockey leagues? And like I said, I am not opposed to having conversation, like you said, make it local. Let's say you do want to change the midgets and have that conversation locally, but to have like a statewide bill, if you are going to say that this bill is reasonably sound and built on a logical foundation, then you have to look at the Kansas City Chiefs and the Chicago Blackhawks, and it's going to continue.
The Illini. I mean, they've already. I'm a Trump fan. If people listen to my show, they know that. But I think I'm a common sense person. I had said when Donald Trump gets done with all his other executive orders, I wish he'd bring back Chief Illinois. I don't know if I'm going to get that out of the president. But when it comes to this bill specifically, we have Katie Stewart, a Democrat state representative in the 112th district. She voted against this bill. There are other Democrats that are voting against this bill. It's not a partisan thing. It's not a red-blue thing. It's a common sense thing. Local control. That's what we want. That's what we're advocating for. And if you come out and support us, I know there are going to be people who are diehard protect the Quahog at Sunday at 2. And I support those people because they're the community taxpayers. But what I'm about is give it to the people who are going to have to pay for your mandate, because they're not going to solve the problem they're trying to address if this bill passes and they put this taxpayer burden on these communities. The problem that they think exists, that they're trying to solve, will not be completely solved. Actually, I don't even think there's any progress by doing it when they're done feeling good about themselves because they pass this. And you asked what's the likelihood of this passing. We're really excited to have a huge rally on Sunday, but the likelihood of this passing, I think, is 90%.
Wow.
Okay, so the rally is Sunday. this Sunday, April 27th, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., Collinsville High School Football Stadium. You're saying to wear your Spirit gear, Save Our Mascots pep rally, which I do really like that you said it's you're seeking to go back to local control over these issues. If there is a name, because there are some names probably that need to be changed, but let it be those local taxpayers, the people who have to pay for it, let them decide versus a sweeping a sweeping House bill. And I want to say this, Annie, before we let you go, so people, again, they can find more information with your show, but maybe we'll chat with you next week because you are going to the White House and will be part of the White House press corps for a day or two.
Yeah, this is crazy. My producer, Brad Range, had worked really hard. We've had a good, strong relationship on our show with Will Sharf, who people now know as the narrator to Trump's executive orders. But of course, he was a prosecutor here in the state of Missouri. He ran for attorney general, and Andrew Bailey won out, which is great because he's a great attorney general. But Will Sharf helped us get an opportunity to go in next week during Trump's 100 days, and I'm going to get to move with the press pool, whatever that means. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to be in the White House, and I'm going to be, covering this from a what is it like to be in the White House while Donald Trump, who is a very fast-paced individual, is doing the things he does. So we'll be covering that. People can check out the Annie Fry, F-R-E-Y, YouTube page. I'm going to be posting a lot of stuff there, but of course the Annie Fry show will be covering it. I'd love to come back on with you and talk about, what I'm learning, what I'm experiencing, what I've got to see.
Yeah, no, and what that would be like. I mean, access that 99.9% of us won't ever get. Maybe you'll get a chance. There's a chance, right? You can ask a question of the President of the United States.
There's a chance I could do that. They've told me I'll be able to ask a question in the press briefings, and they're supposed to, I believe, be having a press briefing pretty much every day next week. They've got a lot lined up to respect the 100 days into Donald Trump's second term. So they've told me I can ask a question there, and that's essentially, when you talk to the press secretary, you're talking to the administration. She speaks for the administration, and if people have thoughts on what I should ask, Amy, Mike, all of y'all, if you got thoughts, I'm all ears. So you can tweet at me on X at Annie Fry Show, or
you might go viral if you ask about the apple knockers.
Ryan Wiggins on my show keeps wanting the show to go viral, but I think that's how I end up losing my job. So I'll take any and all advice. But
well, thank you very much,
Enjoy
Annie.
that trip, Annie.
Yeah, we'll talk to you next
Thank
week.
you so
We'd
much.
love to hear all about it. Annie Fry, Save Our Mascots Pep Rally, Sunday, April 27th, 2 p.m., Collinsville High School Football Stadium. We'll check in with Annie after she hangs out with the White House press pool. Have you done that, Michael? Have you been?
I've been there, yes.
I'm sure with
I'm not
all
in
of
the
your
press pool. I mean, that's fancy what she's doing, but I've been in all those places she's going to get to see.
Very, very
Once
cool.
in a lifetime. Enjoy it.
The texts are coming in. We want to hear from you. 314-436-7900. You can text in. You can also leave us a voice message on the Odyssey app. What are your thoughts about mascot names and this Illinois legislature pushing this bill that would eliminate a lot of them and put the burden on taxpayers? It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan from McKelvey Homes. Since 1898, we've been building homes of legendary quality with personal service for families in St. Louis for over 127 years. And to mark this special occasion, we are celebrating with our anniversary gift of $18,980 in options on all homes in all communities across St. Louis and St. Charles counties. When you're ready to move up to McKelvey, visit McKelveyhomes.com.
The Photo Pros out near Westport is a full-service camera store. We carry Nikon, Olympus, flashes, studio equipment, tripods, filters, memory cards, and lots of used equipment. Plus, we take trade-ins. Our employees will listen to your needs and budget. We'll only suggest the right equipment for you, and all with no pressure. Plus, you can take one of our classes. Same price with better advice guaranteed. Just Google the Photo Pros in St. Louis or call 314-567-3456.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
So, you want to buy a house. You could go online, do your research, find the dream listing, go see it, and get catfished. Back to the drawing board. This doesn't even look like the photos. You could finally find one that does match the photos. Then comes the offer. Stress rush? Yep, make that 3. And here's the paperwork. Yep, never-ending paperwork. It's a lot. But you don't have to do it alone. Because there's an agent who's a realtor here to guide and help protect you as you find the home that's right for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
Good morning, Doctor. Doctor? Hi, Doctor. Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Anderson is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Find out why Renewal by Anderson has the most 5-star reviews in St. Louis at RBASTL.com or call 314-332-1957. RBASTL.com.
The Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup is coming back to St. Louis on May 7th. Join us at Energizer Park for the round of 32 as St. Louis City SC hosts Union Omaha and plays for the historic trophy. Get tickets now at stlcitysc.com/Open Cup.
News, talk, cars. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Michael Kelley, Amy Mark Scores with you, continuing our conversation about mascots, specifically related to House Bill 1237 that the Illinois House and the recently passed. The Senate will vote on it next week. Annie Fry is holding a Save Our Mascots pep rally. A couple texts coming in. One from a 314, which is kind of what we brought up with Annie. How about the Chiefs? Meaning the Kansas City Chiefs. Will they change that? And I think logically, if this House bill is so sweeping that you're getting rid of Warriors.
This is high schools. I mean, but
you can see how the logic, if it's inappropriate for a high school, then it would be inappropriate for the NFL.
But what if one of these schools did have a word that you know, a female dog, the Benton female dogs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
that would have it right with local control. We ought to let them do that. But at the same time, I don't like the idea of taking away the Chiefs or, the names of particular Indians.
From a 618, I live in Illinois, and I think the state has bigger issues than mascot names. 314, Big Blonde Dan. He said, in the context of American Indian and Indigenous law, Indian is a legal term of art, specifically referring to individuals who are members of federally or officially state-recognized tribes. That said, we can all agree that Redskins was offensive, as in the Washington Redskins, and I am fine with the Washington Redskins changing their name. I have no problem with it. I can see how that would be offensive. We also had someone clarify that the Apple Knockers, that's a mascot, or for all the apple orchards in the areas, Centralia Orphans. Oh, they had a girls' track meet in high school called the Orphan Annie Relays. I can see how that would also not be okay.
The sun would always come out on those reins.
We've got a voice message from Rick.
My wife is Osage Indian, believe it or not, and she thinks it's silly. Redskins was a little offensive. It was an offensive word, but Indians, she was like proud. Her high school, their mascot was Indians, and she was proud of it. And some of the other names like Chiefs, etc., it actually honors the Indians. Yeah. So I just think that they have to, pick and choose. But we got a little crazy with eliminating all their names, and the Indians, they lost a way of being honored.
Okay. Yes, I agree with him. I think
Because if it's a mascot, you're not
Right.
making fun of it. You chose it to represent you.
Let's be honest. I was a bobcat at one time, a pioneer, a rebel at Ole Miss, and a riverman at Umsel. I wasn't ever proud to be I never called myself any of those things. When people say, well, I was proud to be a pioneer. Well, I mean, I was proud to have gone to the school, but I don't know that I was proud to be the name of the mascot.
You know what I would find more offensive? I'm going to get in trouble.
Please do it.
I never understood why like the Catholic schools like Chaminade or the Red Devils.
Yeah.
Like that's your enemy.
Right.
Why would you be like, we're Chaminade, we're Satan? You know
Yeah,
what I
that's
mean?
an interesting point. I
why would you
forgot
be
that they are the
isn't
Red
it the Blue
Devils.
Devils Duke?
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be religious.
Yeah,
I
and it
never
was-
understood why religious universities would choose the arch enemy. That's like we are the antichrists. Well, don't pick
Yeah.
that guy to be your mascot.
We're the KMOX, the cable TVers.
Yeah, right. I never understood. If you have any thoughts on why the religious schools always pick the devil as their mascot, I would love to hear it because I feel like that's not a great move. I would feel so weird if we were the West County Christian Home Educator Antichrists. Like that's like the worst thing we could pick. We were like the
I
Constitution.
bet you guys were a fierce cheering section, the West County homeschooler.
The West County
groups.
Christian Home Educators.
Yeah, you guys were probably a fierce cheering group.
Well,
What would your mascot be?
probably the Constitution, I
Yeah,
would think, or
really?
a founding father, or the
Yeah,
founding
like
fathers.
John Hancock.
Hey, we're getting a lot of texts in, so we're going to continue this a little bit longer. He's Michael Kelley. I'm Amy Mark Scores. We're going to get to your texts next. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Homeowners, spring is here and there's no better time to sell your St. Louis home. But the agent you choose matters. So who should you call? Trusted realtor Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty. This is Debbie Monterey, and here's why Gloria should be your first call. While the average realtor puts a sign in your yard and hopes your home sells, Gloria will guarantee to sell your home for 100% of market value, or Gloria will pay you the difference. In this market, you don't want to risk working with someone who doesn't have the guarantees, the buyers, or the experience to help you sell within your time frame and for the most money. Many realtors will overprice your home just to get your business, which can lead to your home sitting on the market with little or no offers and then price reductions. If you want to sell your home for 100% of market value or have Gloria pay you the difference, call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Need a lawyer? Onder wins. Call Onder Law at 314-9-MILLION. That's 314-9 all zeros. Or go to onderwins.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Cardinal Cowboy here. Years ago, doctors said I'd never be independent after a bad car accident. Well, I proved them wrong. When proving who's the best in garage doors, Renner does it every time. Whether it's service or a new door, you're covered with top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster. Keep your garage door running strong with Renner's $100 maintenance check, or get a free replacement quote. Call or click RennerDoorSTL.com. Renner, forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
The sun is peeking out behind some clouds here in downtown St. Louis. Currently 72 degrees. The high today is 80, mostly cloudy to partly sunny. We might have some scattered rain and thunderstorms throughout the day into the evening. Then it's going to be dry, mostly cloudy, a low of 53. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, a high of 69. And Sunday, 72 degrees and mostly cloudy. The weather is sponsored by the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ziprecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ziprecruiter.com/free. ziprecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. YourEyeDoc.com.
Cards manager Ollie Marble joins the Gas House Gang every Tuesday at noon. Sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center on the voice of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Michael Kelley, Amy Mark scores alongside you on a Friday, and quite the conversation about high school mascots. This, of course, being prompted by Illinois Bill HB 1237. It was passed by the Illinois House, will be likely voted for next week and sent to the governor's desk, voted for in the Senate and sent to the governor's desk. And as Annie Fry from 97.1 pointed out, that this would be a statewide measure, and it would put the financial burden on the local communities to change mascots, even if those communities didn't want to change the mascot. She brought up Collinsville. That stinks for them, having spent all that money to redo their basketball courts and include the mascot to brand for the high school. They'd have to rip all of that up. So her push is, let's make it local control. If Collinsville, if Freeburg, if they want to change their mascots, let it be up to them, since they will have to carry the financial burden. The texts are coming in. Let's get down here. They're coming in quick here. If the Fighting Illini, this is from a 618, so from Illinois, if the Fighting Illini ever have to change the name, won't the state of Illinois be forced to change their name also? That's from Phil. I guess because Illinois, the tribe, the Indians?
Yeah, well, I mean, the Illini.
The Indians,
Illinois
Americans,
is named after the
Indians,
Illinois
yeah.
Indian, yeah.
Yeah, another 618. Before Illinois lawmakers tell schools to remove Native American names from their sports teams, they should change the state name of Illinois. That's another one.
I want to do some more research on how likely it is that this bill is going to pass. I mean, I understand that it angers people because we all went to high school. And I'm just wondering if this is more of a political outrage than a reality.
Williamsville, this is from a 217. They were the Williamsville Bullets.
What's wrong with that?
Well, I think now it says, I don't have any problem with being a bullet. Our middle school and elementary schools are the BBs, but someone would have an issue with it. Sorry, our text line sometimes gets a little funky, but they're saying that some could have an issue with it. I've never heard of the Bullets. I can see, I mean, that's the thing. I think it should be probably up to the communities themselves, because I was fine with the Washington Redskins changing their names, but then the Chicago Blackhawks or the Kansas City Chiefs, because this bill would also say that the Warriors is offensive, and I think that's probably taking it a step too far.
Yeah, and I don't want to get too cheeky on this, but what about us Irish? What are we all fighters?
Well, right. That is.
I'm not offended by that.
So 314 said the Missouri Tigers were actually named after a Civil War guerrilla group that had skirmishes with the Kansas Jayhawks.
Yeah, that's true, right? The Missouri Tigers and the Jayhawks, that's what that goes back to. Yeah, there was a whole border clash there.
I'm not going to say the word here, but someone did bring up Peking, Illinois.
Oh yeah.
And how that one they should change.
Yeah,
that was a good one that they changed.
This has been 50, 60 years old. It was the Peking, and it's a derogatory slur for a Chinese person. But it literally was the name of their school mascot. And I think that's, from my perspective, what the intention of the legislation should really be.
Yeah.
And maybe I think we can all agree that the word midget used in an inappropriate context could be considered that word as well.
Yeah.
Like that as well.
I think case by case. I have fine if a community wants to change its name.
But apple knockers? I haven't got a problem with that. What's offensive about an apple knocker? Is that what's described the person who picks apples as a person who's an apple knocker?
Yeah, from the apple orchard.
They just knock the tree and then there you go.
I'm trying to find this. I just lost it. About Chaminade apparently did change their name here we go. It says there was a period, this is from a 408. There was a period, maybe in the 90s, when Chaminade took the name Flyers. Apparently, people wouldn't really accept it, and they went back to the Red Devils.
Yeah, but I don't think them having the Red Devils makes them less whatever. I mean, it's a stupid name. That's all it is it's a little face that they can put out there of a drawing.
You want to put Satan?
Yeah, but I mean, really? Are you worried that the brothers that teach at Chaminade, I think were they the Marian bro? I don't know what order it is, but that they are, devil worshippers? Quite the opposite.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. I think it has to be community by community. I'm saying personally,
What is a golden griffin? Isn't that the half of these things? What personally? I'm sorry, Amy, I cut you off. I'm just starting to think of all the.
I was just going to say personally, it's just funny to me. Like if I were a faith-based school, like I wouldn't pick the Devils. So it's funny that so many do.
For the Devils! What's a Hoya? Because I'm thinking of all the religious schools. What's a Billiken?
Is a Hoya
is
a
the Billiken this is a Jesuit school.
Mm-hmm.
The Billikens, now that's a lucky charm. It's like a mythical thing that you wish on. I'm sure it's got some basis in satanic blah blah blah. If you want, come on. Although the Billiken is kind of
there's like probably somewhere some Presbyterian school that has like something crazy, like a devil or something.
How do you think the vote went down when they were like, okay, we're going to come up for a name for the St. Louis U mascot. Let's call it the Billiken. Where did that even come from? Had you ever even heard the word Billiken other than?
No, nobody knows. I know where the name puck comes from like a hockey puck. Because whenever I think of a Billiken, I think of Puck, which was like this from Shakespeare, like the super sketchy, darty, hard to track character.
Okay.
And that's why they say they named it. But the
and
Billiken,
that's where the hockey puck word came from?
I think so.
Really?
Now I feel like I'm speculating.
It doesn't matter.
But
people got Google. They can check it.
So anyway, thank you for everyone texting in. And I wanted to I saw one more text. I love our country dearly, but we have to be the only country that spends so much time and money and effort making sure no one gets offended.
Right.
I don't know. Although I think Europe has some of this.
It
too.
is interesting to me. Listen, Annie is doing this from a nonpartisan manner, but she's a conservative radio host, a MAGA supporter, who often in the past has, supported, a different thought process as it comes to regulation. Like, oh, you ought to be able to regulate your books, and the state ought to be able to do these bans. I mean, I'm with her premise on this argument, which is let the schools and the towns make their own decision. You want to be a devil, be a devil.
Yeah.
You want to be an Indian, be an Indian. You want to be a chief, be a chief.
Yeah. I just think.
You want to be a jerk, you already are.
You have to use common sense, as you say, Michael. And again, there are some names that like we've mentioned in Illinois. Is it Where is Peking?
Yeah, Peking.
Illinois?
Peking, Illinois. Pekin, Pekin, Illinois.
So that was one that should be changed. I
Sure.
think I'm even on board with the Washington Redskins. But then at some point we have to be able to have serious conversations and nuance. One texter did say, what if instead of changing the name, you spend a week and it's like honoring this is how we got our name. This is why we have our school name. And you could do that as well.
Sing Kumbaya.
From a 314, Michael, you're doing great.
Really?
Yes.
Is that really what it says?
That's what it says.
There has never been a text message that has come into KMOX that has ever made any reference like that in a positive
From
way.
a 618, great topics and great substance. Thank you. As long as you're not joking. Whenever I get a compliment, I always am assuming
Right.
people are being
I think
sarcastic.
the worst. Yeah,
I think the
like
worst.
If somebody says to you, "Hey, how's the are you hot? Or are you cold?" You're like, "Oh my god, I got to change the temperature." Or these people want
Yeah,
something.
I'm always afraid that they're joking or being sarcastic. Michael, before we let you go, because this is something.
Where am I going? Home. I'm done for the day.
You're almost done for the day.
Yeah,
I'm
how
almost
about
done
you?
for the day. Yeah, because Matt Pauley is stepping in for Chris Ranji to host the Gas House Gang. In case anybody listening was wondering, is Amy hosting Gas House? No, she's not. Okay, you haven't. Okay, this blew my mind. Matt Bajeski and I were out late last night. We were at the Blues game. It was a late puck drop. He's looking. He's like, I wasn't with her.
Hey, Matthew.
I was waiting for Kelley to give me the look.
Hey, now. Late night, huh,
We
kids?
were both in our suits in the media press box because it was an
What kind of suits?
an 8:45 puck drop. And it was super late. And I had to set my alarm. And I'm like,
Right.
my goodness, the alarm, it went off quickly this morning. I felt like I had just fallen asleep. And then the alarm blares and I have to wake up. And I was so afraid I was going to oversleep. And then you said that you have not used an alarm.
Years, decade, more.
But you wake up and on the weekends, on Sunday, you do
I can
Hancock
wake
and
myself
Kelley.
up. Now listen, I'm not completely nuts in the sense that if I have a flight that's leaving at 5 a.m. and I have to be there at 4, I'm setting my alarm at 3:30. There may be the rare exception like that, but on a typical day, including today or on Sunday when I go to do the television and I've got to get up and be on with Scott in the morning, I do not have to set my alarm. Have not set it. And
Just so people know, Michael Kelley works a job 5 days a week, but then also has to wake up for, is it 7:15 on Saturdays or Sundays?
Sundays,
7:15 to join
we
KMOX.
join KMOX, and then we go do television.
And then you go do television.
Yeah.
And to me, I would have 10 alarms set.
Nope, no alarms necessary. But now maybe that goes back to when I was young. Remember when you're like in high school and stuff, and on the weekends you could sleep till noon, and your parents would come in and be like, "What are you gonna do? Sleep your life away? We're not a family that sleeps all the time." I would beg for a day that I could sleep in. I mean, if I could make it to 9:30 one day, actually, I probably would call my doctor thinking I'm ill.
That you're sick, yeah.
How about you? I mean, are you able to actually sleep in?
No, I'm not able to sleep in. I will say I never go to bed really late. If I go to bed, say at 2 a.m., which is super late, very, very rare, I will wake up at 6:30 and then try to go back to bed. But a normal night between 10:30 and 11:30, I'm going to wake up before 7, but I would never trust it because the one time that I didn't set my alarm, I would sleep till 8. And I never do. I never sleep till 8.
Maybe my motivation, Amy, comes from the fact that, like, I would put next to fingernails on a chalkboard the sound of the old night table alarms, that beep, beep, beep. Oh, when I used to have that when going to high school and stuff, that killed me. And maybe that's part of what kept me away from it because, I hate the sound of an alarm.
When I would do, if you have a song as an alarm or even an iPhone sound, that if that's someone else's ringer, doesn't it just make you feel sick to your stomach when you hear it throughout the day?
Totally. That noise right there.
Oh my gosh, I just, ugh. And
that's those, you remember those little radio clocks with the little red? Ugh.
When I would do the sports reports and, join like a Tom Ackerman or a Debbie Monterey and you had to wake up at 3 a.m., I would set 10 alarms. I was so afraid that I was going to oversleep.
Really?
Yeah. And I'll do that with, and if let's say I have to wake up at 4:30 because I have a big workout or a run before work, I will wake up generally before 4:30, but not like I slept well and I woke up. It is, I wake up at 2, 2:15, 2:30, 2:45 because I'm anticipating that early wake up. If I have to wake up very early, I don't sleep well. Yeah, it's stressful.
Oh, I'm glad that I don't need an alarm, because that noise that Matt Pajeski was playing right there would send me over the edge.
Yeah,
every day.
it almost
the
did.
new one. That's the
Oh,
iPhone.
yeah, that's the iPhone noise.
It sends a shiver down your spine hearing that.
That one doesn't bother me.
Oh, that bothers
well, it's my
me.
everyday
The
alarm, so
other
that's why.
one really is annoying. Yeah, here we go.
The Big Blonde Dan, going back quickly to the mascots.
I like Big Blonde
I do
Dan.
too. About the Chaminade Red Devils. He goes,
Uh-huh.
maybe keep your friends close and your enemies closer. That's a good strategy.
So Big Blonde Dan, would you call him a super fan of KMOX?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he
Yep.
comes like I met him at the Glover.
That's crazy. He's still a
Throwdown.
phantom to me.
Yeah, you've not met him.
No.
I met him at the Glover Throwdown. That's the cool thing about KMOX is when people come up to you and we all have a story on how we got hooked on it, right?
Oh,
Mine
my
was Jim
gosh.
White.
Really?
As a
Jim
kid.
White.
Do you remember Jim White, Amy?
I
You used
don't
to do the
think so.
overnights here?
No, because I got hooked on it from the old radio on top of my papa's refrigerator that you would have on in the morning
Uh-huh.
and during lunch. So if it was overnight, I didn't hear it, but I would hear morning news. I would hear Charlie Brennan. I would hear
Hardy.
Rush Limbaugh. I
Right.
would hear Rush Limbaugh. So that whole tone of the Rush Limbaugh, what was his radio network called?
The EIB
Yes!
network
Yes!
with one part of my neck tied behind my
I'm like eating saltine crackers. Okay, we have a few more minutes, and we're gonna get to a few more texts. But first, I did want to remind everyone: if you're having knee pain or foot pain or plantar fasciitis, head on over to Fleet Feet, and they will fit you up with Super Feet insoles. I have run and hiked, 50,000 miles in my Super Feet insoles, almost 20 years. I started wearing them in 2006 when I used to work at Fleet Feet. I wear the green ones. Those are the high arches, but they've got some for low arches. They also now, which they didn't have back in the day, but they have Super Feet for a more custom fit. And anybody at Fleet Feet can help fit you up. The best news, you do not have to spend hundreds of dollars on custom insoles. My green ones are $60, which is insane. It's the best money I spend. Coming back from this injury, you better believe that I actually just got a new pair of Super Feet that I put in my new running shoes as I come back. I also put the Super Feet in my new hiking boots that I got. So when I go on my trips with Noah, I am good to go. Stop by any of the 5 area Fleet Feet locations, and they will get you the Super Feet that are right for you. St. Charles, Chesterfield, De Pere, South County, and O'Fallon, Missouri.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Hey St. Louis, this is Ben Barnett, board certified master arborist with Timberline Professional Tree Care. In my nearly 30 years in the industry, I've seen firsthand what damage falling trees can do to your property. The sad thing is that most trees that fail have defects that can be identified by a well-trained certified arborist. At Timberline, we have 7 ISA certified arborists, 3 of which have gone through extensive training and testing to become tree risk assessment qualified. Our track certified arborists can perform a thorough assessment of your tree and provide mitigation options for your peace of mind. If there's nothing wrong with your tree, we will let you know that it poses a low risk of failure. If it needs to be removed, we'll tell you in a detailed written report. It's all about honesty and integrity here at Timberline Professional Tree Care. So call us today to get a tree risk assessment scheduled, 636-479-7475, or contact us through our website at stltreecare.com.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. Have you noticed loose bricks or missing mortar around your house, on the walls, the patios, the walkways, the porch, or the chimneys? If so, you need to call Morelli Tuck Pointing, 314-645-1387. You might need one of 2 things: solid tuck pointing, the removal of old mortar with the replacement of new mortar throughout an entire wall or chimney, or maybe just spot tuck pointing. Spot tuck pointing involves the tuck pointing of a particular wall, a chimney, or other masonry surface in an area where it's needed the most. One example might be settlement cracks, usually found above or below windows or doorways. 314-645-1387. Call the company that the Brennans have called when we've needed tuck pointing. Morelli Tuck Pointing, the masonry specialists. Winner of the Angie's List Super Service Award every year since 2005. 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Michael Kelley, Amy Mark scores with you for a couple of minutes before the Gas House Gang starts. And
I got to go up and read about the Apple Knockers and see how the season's going
the Apple
this year.
Knockers are really getting a lot of love on our message boards here. The Facebook Bill says Cobden, Illinois are the Apple Knockers. They're a small village and finished second in the state basketball tournament.
Yeah.
I guess that was, I don't know, this year. At some point they did.
Well, good for them.
The Cobden Apple Knockers surrounded by orchards.
Who doesn't think about the glory days of their Apple Knockers?
Brian says, you know what, you guys all need to go home. Brian says the Peoria Chiefs changed from an Indian theme to a firefighter theme.
I like that.
Yep. Someone else brought up the inappropriate pecan.
Yeah.
How do you say it?
Pecan.
I don't know.
Pecan?
Illinois.
Pecan.
Yeah. I don't know how to say it.
I'm just telling you, it's a slur for an Asian
not a good
person.
one.
But I mean, their Letterman's jackets had the name on it and the logo, which go Google it.
Hey, the Teutopolis. Is that how you say it? Teutopolis, Illinois. They were the wooden shoes. Says Blair said that has to strike fear in their opponents.
Teutopolis. What the wooden shoes?
Like
what are they going to change their name to the Clogs?
Well, you could get clobbered, I guess. Matthew says don't forget the Demon Deacons. That's terrible.
Yeah. Well, who is the Demon Deacons? Somebody big.
It sounds really familiar.
This was fun. Always good to be with you.
Always fun. Thank you, Michael. Go enjoy the day. Go
Bring
enjoy.
home a winner on Sunday, Amy, in the press box.
2 winners. The Blues and the Cardinals. Thank you very much. Thank you all for listening. Chris Ranji will be back on Monday. And next we've got Matt Pauley. He is hosting the Gas House Gang. They're going to figure out what's going on with the Cardinals. It is the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
If you have been in a car accident in the past and have settled your case,